back with a cup of joe. You know you've got friends waiting on 1620 The Zone. It's Happer and Schaefer. It's Connor and Mike. Listen on the radio stream or YouTube or podcasts. Anytime it feels right. It's Happer and Schaefer. Happer and Schaefer.
Good morning and welcome in. Happy Friday. It's Happer and Schaefer here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Mike Schaefer, Joey Colbert with you. Hi, everybody.
Good morning.
Hello.
How are we doing today?
Fantastic. It's Friday.
That's a good thing.
It is Friday.
Joey, did you watch every single schedule release video last night?
I only watched the Packers and the Seahawks.
Oh, okay.
Someone sent me the Seahawks. I didn't get a chance to watch
Seattle's pretty good.
Yeah, that's so. Someone sent this.
Yes,
this is well
David
done.
sent us the Seattle one for Friday shoutouts, which he still gets a Friday shoutout. I heard the Chargers were really good again.
They usually do a pretty good job with it. The Titans have been the one with the going on Broadway and then giving people the logo.
And I don't know what they did this time.
Yeah, I didn't either. I was hoping it would all be Vrabel related, which you saw that story, right?
I know. I figured that there would be more Vrabel references, but there was only a few.
I'm guessing that the NFL was like, hey, we're not going to review this, but don't do it. We would appreciate if you
They must have saw Dave Portnoy's tweet out there.
What did Dave Portnoy tweet?
Mr. Patriots fan Dave Portnoy said he's going to go after you if you make fun of this.
That seems like a bit. Right?
That feels like it's straight out of the wrestling playbook that Dave Portnoy uses.
Exactly. That's a bit. He's also tweeting about Narcos on Netflix.
Oh, great show. It's been out for a long time, but I'm glad you stumbled into it.
Yeah, no, it's
terrific show, though. Highly recommend.
It would have been really funny had there have been more times in which people went after the Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel thing. I did see one good reference to it in the Chargers video, which was
if you're going to bet on a team doing it.
I also saw
Chang.
The other best one was in the Chargers. Well, this is the Chargers' reputation now precedes itself, but so I don't watch any of them. I haven't gone through literally any of them except for what Twitter aggregated for me. And the one that they had that was great was in their Chiefs game. They had like a QR code that was on there, and it if you scanned it, immediately went to the sourdough bread line of tweets. Which were you even here? Did you see that? They did a horrible line of sourdough bread tweets several days ago, releasing their opponents for their schedule, where they basically just copied and pasted things that represent the cities that they were playing on top of sourdough bread. It was one of the most confusing things that I've ever seen.
The Chargers did this, or the Chiefs?
The Chiefs did it, so the Chargers were making fun of it.
Why? What's the Chiefs' connection to sourdough bread?
We
sourdough bread having a moment, obviously, in society recently.
I think so too. We deduced that it was Taylor Swift related.
Got it. Is that why sourdough's having a?
She's into sourdough.
Okay. She got a starter and everything?
That's what they're telling us. Michael Snow sat in your chair and said she's not into sourdough. She's faking it or something like that.
Doesn't seem like she'd be into carbs.
I don't know. Like, she likes cats and sourdough. That's her bit. Right. She's kind of like an old lady in that way.
I mean, I'm pro sourdough. I don't have it that often, but when I do, I enjoy it.
Sal says, few things better than a well-planned day off of work to golf. Sal, you are actually absolutely correct about that.
That'll be up to 92 today.
Yeah, I don't have the day off, but I am going golfing after this, and I am excited.
It's going to be hot.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. Good. That's good.
Come back, be like completely and utterly sunburned on Monday.
So we're not going to see you at Twin Peaks today?
I am hoping to stop by after the golf.
Okay. All right. We got a busy day.
I plan on showing up over there later on. Not sure what time. Maybe during the One Beer Friday, or a little bit prior.
All right. Well, yeah, that's where Unsportsmanlike Conduct is today. Take a day off and go there if you would like to. Today, coming up on the show, we will have a variety of different things, including our regular Friday situations, like Friday shout-outs. Get your Friday shout-outs coming up at 8:45 today. We already have a few Friday shout-outs that are that have been inbound already, so send those in.
I got a Friday shout-out.
I also have a Friday shout-out.
I need to think of one, apparently. City of the Day, which we stumbled upon New Haven yesterday, which is exciting.
Joey's very excited about New Haven.
I'm curious to hear what Joey knows about its interstate system, if anything.
Oh, did he research last night?
No, I did not. I just chuckle because the interstates, they're all over the place in the East Coast. There's a whole bunch of different interstates up there because there's a lot of people there.
There are. We also get the introduction of ferries and things of that nature in this area of the country. So
I don't know my ferry routes.
I do. I can get you covered on the ferries.
Okay, thank you.
So we'll get you there.
You got a lot of ferry experience.
Does Vrabel and Rossini happen to be on one of these ferry routes?
That is funny.
I guarantee they've been on a ferry. It will come out.
There will be photos. There will be photos.
They might be the Staten Island ferry, which is my only ferry experience.
Do not go on the Staten Island ferry.
It's a great way to see the Statue of Liberty.
I did the Manhattan
Or you can just take the one that takes you to the Statue of Liberty.
You got to pay for that one.
You do.
You can take the Staten Island ferry for free.
Take the boat right around.
Go with the city's garbage.
You can take. That's what I'm saying.
Take the boat right around Manhattan, and you'll eventually see it.
Yeah, but you got to pay for that one too. If you take the Staten Island ferry, you're literally hanging out with the piles of trash of the city.
It was a wonderful time.
All right, the big orange boat.
Big and orange.
When I took when I went out to the Statue of Liberty like a normal person on a normal ferry, everybody sat there and they pointed and laughed at the Staten Island ferry. Ha ha ha! Look at those smelly idiots.
I sat there on the Staten Island ferry and looked at the Statue of Liberty. And
You're
thought,
an idiot.
What an underwhelming thing.
Yeah, but at least it was free.
At least it was free.
So ferry updates coming up in a little bit as well. And our special guests on a Friday, Jake Sorensen will join us at 9:15, and Dan Jackson, the head coach of South Dakota State. We're going to run it back.
I think it's going to work this time.
I think so too. Now you say that, and you have to you're putting a lot of belief in our phone system.
That's true.
And in the fact
it wasn't
that
our phone system last time. Dan took full
so
responsibility.
let me continue. And on his being a college football coach, which means,
that's more of the issue than anything else.
Which means there could be a variety of
circumstances that he didn't want to get into last week.
Okay,
there was no way around.
Okay, so there could be a variety of different things that could potentially get in the way between now and 1 hour and 20 minutes from now. But I think we're going to be okay. Like you said, I have confidence. So that's our lineup today. We want to hear from you all, 402-951-1620 on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. You could call or text that number. Tweeted us at HappenSchafe on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed. Also at Connor Happer, at Mike J. Schaefer there as well. Email Connor, Mike, Joey, 1620thezone at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. And we say good morning to our YouTube streamers this morning, where Sal writes, and he says you could take a beer on the Staten Island ferry as well. They sell beer on all the ferries.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they even sell it on the Staten Island ferry. So.
Definitely.
Be a lack of good resources or using your assets.
I would imagine that they sell beer on the one that goes from New Haven to Long Island as well, right across the Long Island Sound.
We haven't been doing this show that long, but I have to admit I get a little concerned when I don't have a good morning from Kevin.
Or where is Kevin?
So
he might have
taken Friday off.
Might have invested his time on the NFL schedule release. I don't know.
We've seen it a couple times. Okay, I doubt that. We've seen it a couple times.
Who would do that?
Where he shows up at like 8:20 or something like that. So you never know. I hope Kevin will show up as well. All right. Elsewhere today on the show, Matt Rhule has returned to Twitter to fire off a bunch of emojis, almost for sure regarding their 7-on-7 thing this summer, which they're trying to get a lot of people to go to. I imagine Husker Nation will answer the call.
No, I mean, I don't think they charged last year to go. I think it's free to to go.
Yeah,
and then they had food trucks, and
there
they made
wasn't
it a
very many
thing.
people who showed up.
Yeah, and they had a number of top targets that were there, and you got to see Trey Taylor and everything else.
And now they are asking you to show up via emojis. So we'll see. We'll see if the emojis get people to go.
You read the comments to the emojis, by the way?
No, I imagine they were a bit disastrous.
Oh yeah.
People probably what does it
People
mean?
are very free to say what they want on Twitter. It's
very much so.
It's a little much.
It is. Imagine how he feels.
Yeah. He has to be team. Don't read the comments.
You got to. That's why you just never tweet.
That is a good point.
That'd be my advice. Anyway, emojis are back, ladies and gentlemen. Baseball yesterday in our local baseball scene. Nebraska baseball gets little iffy starting pitching, but blasts its way to a series opening win at Minnesota, comes back late and figures it out there. And people are getting very, very excited for the potential Lincoln Regional that will have season ticket holders at it. Creighton won yesterday at a major league ballpark, and the Mike Schaefer's dream of the Mega Big East tie is still alive.
Yeah, let's go.
Still there for one more day, which is exciting. Nebraska softball begins their regional this weekend. Their own little softball regional this weekend. Is it the regional of death? There's three of the teams.
Of the softball people say
3 of the teams are ranked in the top 25.
Yeah.
Are they trying to? Is the NCAA against Nebraska? People are wondering this.
They're terrible.
I suspect they're not
NCAA
against Nebraska.
I also suspect that. We have the NFL schedule now. I'm curious to hear Joey's, big picture takeaways, not Packers related takeaways.
Oh darn!
But just takeaways in general from the NFL schedule. We will get to that during the show. And then Troy Dannon talks about numbers and how much rosters cost, and Matt Rhule says other things about that same subject, but the things are different.
You want to talk about things that we need a moratorium on?
Talking about how much money
just
rosters are?
At some point, can we just acknowledge that rosters cost a lot of money and we don't have to have an update on this like 17 times every offseason?
Yeah, but some people are like, it costs a lot. And then some people are like, I don't have that money.
Yeah, no,
we need more of that.
It's money. Evident. We understand through a variety of mechanisms that the money is not there.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to hear about this continuously.
Okay.
Unless it's just like your guerrilla efforts to fundraise through, pointing out what you don't have repetitively.
People have done that before.
Yeah. There's other ways to fundraise too.
All right. Well, I'd be curious of what those are. We'll talk about that today during the show, or we won't.
We can talk about
it. All right, good.
Who knows?
That's a good thing.
I don't care if we talk about
it.
I'm saying it doesn't really behoove those that continually do it.
Probably not.
Because otherwise, you and I aren't coming in on a Tuesday and we're like, you know what we need to talk about? Here's what rosters cost, because one of the recruiting services released another update this offseason that it's $35 million
a list
for a top 25 team.
Yeah, and then there's the immediate reaction of like, this list happened, and then the AD or the coach will come out and be like, hey, I just need you guys to be aware that all the numbers that you see out there, they're fake. They're not real. And then somebody else will come out and be like, yeah, I think that sounds about right. And then this is kind of how this works for a while. So maybe we could hear that again today during this very show. Fremont Fred is here. He says, good morning, girls. Good morning, Fremont Fred. It's great to see you. Hopefully he's gone to Vegas lately and found the secret automatic money machine.
Ooh.
He's told me a little bit about it. We'll keep its location under wraps for the safety of its own well-being.
Good idea.
And Fremont Fred's. All right. I want to hear from you guys today. Like I said, 402-951-1620. Off and running here on a Friday. Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone. Oh, this is a good idea. Free My Fred's got a philanthropical brain here. He says someone should make one of these to put outside Memorial Stadium for the amount of money spent on the roster, and it's one of those like thermometers that like has a donation level and it gets filled up as you
United
donate.
Way used to do those, I think.
This is specifically the United Way one, yeah. That's a tremendous idea. Your roster costs $28 million today.
It'd be funnier,
and then somebody drops like a penny in the bucket and it goes up a little bit.
It'd be funny to me if it was like position specific and it's like your defensive line needs at least, and so then it's like, oh crap!
I mean, that is
contribute.
That is probably what we'll talk about it later, but that is probably some of what the ADs and coaches are trying to do. Like people do love it when you make it a competition. And when you make it in competition against other teams, you're like, we're falling behind these other teams. It's like, yeah, but it's all right. You guys are fine. You have enough money and you have $30 million that you could win more games with. But we're just like, but we're falling behind. It's like, yeah, but this is not where the games are necessarily. But what we're losing the competition. If you put the bucket or a kettle or something like that out in front of Memorial Stadium, it would then be competition amongst Husker fans to see how high they can make the kettle go. This is a great idea.
Maybe they're going to start passing a literal bucket like they do for the Red Cross.
Good one.
And it's just the NIL bucket.
Okay, that would be.
It's like basically you go to church and you're sitting there and the offering comes up and
how much money
everyone's
do you
like
think they
pretending
get off
like
that?
they're not looking to see who's putting money in.
If they go through like, so Nebraska plays Michigan basketball next year. All right, at home.
Oh,
let's say it's a Saturday game, 4:00 in the afternoon.
So you have like basically a full boat of people.
Full boat, full drunkenness, and you get one pass through the entire 15,000 people in the arena, and the bucket says on it, and NIL for Nebraska's football roster. How much money are you getting one pass through?
Let's say on average you get $25 per person because there's gonna be people that pay a lot more.
Yeah, like there'll be a couple guys who drop in 100.
Yeah. So
they're like, that's cool, whatever.
25 is probably a little high.
And then if you do donate, you get a keychain or a tchotchke when you get out the door.
I mean, you could probably get 35,000, maybe.
That seems a little aggressive, but that would be so
just everyone
funny.
just letting it go.
That would be so funny.
It'd be amazing. You would have to have someone with eyes on that bucket at all times.
Nebraska football just got an influx of cash. Or, here's a better idea. 50-50.
Oh, yeah.
50-50 pots at baseball games are huge now. All the kids love 50-50 games. Because the big cat guy on Barstool, he made it like his life mission to win a 50-50.
He's never won a 50-50?
He won. He eventually did win. And
I won one in an American Legion game once.
What was the 50-50?
It was not that much.
$40.
But as like a kid, I think it was like close to 100.
Oh, that's really good.
As a kid, it was a big deal.
So you do 50-50 raffle, and 50% goes to NIL, 50% goes to a jackpot winner.
Yeah, and then everyone boos that jackpot winner for not donating the money back to NIL.
Good one.
Like, you've been to the charity auctions or whatever where that happens, and it's like there's that awkward moment in the room where people are like, well, this is when he's going to give it back to the thing, right? Like, that's what you're supposed to do.
Like, no, I'm good. Thanks.
Yeah. You take the money and run.
Yeah, see you later. You already donated 50%.
Exactly.
It sounds good enough to me. Okay, so there's plenty of great ideas out there for what to do with NIL and how to get more money. Yesterday, the NFL schedule came out. Here are the amount of primetime games by NFL team. Primetime games are defined as standalone games. So Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, and Thursday Night Football. And I guess the Thanksgiving night game would technically count, and then the season opener on Wednesday night would count.
The Eve and the Black Friday.
The Black Friday.
Well, Black Friday is a 2 p.m. kickoff.
Yeah, but it's a set aside. I mean, it's prime time in the sense that it's like a solo window game.
I usually assume prime time would be just under the lights night game.
Yeah. I guess for me, it's usually like it's a solo window. It has no competition.
That's what I would think. So the Ari Meroff guy, he said prime time for the NFL equals game at night.
Okay.
I would tend to say standalone games are more like a more accurate picture of what we're going for here.
So
which
Thanksgiving
is
not considered a primetime slot if you play the Lions or the Cowboys.
Right.
That's idiotic.
That's not correct. Yeah,
Those are some of the most
yeah,
watched.
yeah.
Christmas Day, not primetime.
Christmas Day during the
This
day. Not
definition
prime time.
needs updated.
I agree.
It does. It's very
So I'm sure
confusing.
somebody will do the math as far as like what it actually looks like as far as standalone games are concerned. But this is the primetime games by NFL teams. So this is what the NFL thinks of you, basically. The more times they put you in standalone / primetime games, the more
Or you're just in a good TV market.
Yeah. Well, you tell me. So the Rams have the most.
Yeah, makes sense.
The Rams are probably one of the most watchable teams in the NFL right now, on top of obviously having a good TV market.
NFL crossing their fingers of Matt Stafford's back.
But
I guess you have Ty Simpson now, so it doesn't matter as much.
it would be great television if he got to go into a game.
Well,
because
half of the Rams-
everybody would want to watch that disaster.
You mean great television if we have John Bishop TV?
Yeah.
Half of those Rams primetime games are the first 3 weeks of the season because they start out with the Thursday night
Australia.
at Australia. Then
What
the
time
Monday
is it
night.
in Australia?
Oh man, it'll be 10:35 in the morning over there when they kick.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because it'll be on 7:35 local over here, or
The
8:30.
previous day.
that sucks.
Yeah, it'll be early in the morning over there.
I'm sorry, Australia.
They're
I'm
just
sorry.
excited to have football.
I guess they are. So the Rams get 7 of them. The group that has 6 is the Packers, the Chiefs,
Look at that.
the Bills, and the Seahawks, the Super Bowl champion Seahawks, for the record. All those. I mean, none of those giant TV markets, and all of them just very watchable teams, right?
Yeah, I mean the Packers are amongst the most public teams there are.
Right.
5 of their primetime games happen to be at home. 2 of them on Prime Video,
Showing
and then you
off
got 2
Lambeau.
Sunday night, and then a
Yep.
very late Monday night.
Then the next group is with 5: Dallas, Philly, the Bears, the Patriots, and the 49ers.
There's your TV market.
Yeah, that's your TV market group right there.
Other than maybe the Patriots, I don't know.
Dallas,
Boston,
Philly,
I mean,
Chicago, Boston,
yeah,
and
that's
San
your-
Francisco.
That's your TV market.
That's the
group,
TV
yeah.
market group. And then, there's a big mix in the middle of whoever has 4. Like everybody, you average about 4 or 3, basically, a
Unless
year.
you're the Raiders.
Unless you are these following teams that have none this year: the Jets, the
Oh, no.
Arizona Cardinals, the Tennessee Titans,
Okay.
the Miami Dolphins,
Okay.
and the Las Vegas Raiders,
So
even
the-
though they did a Step Brothers video.
Like, did all of those teams pick in the top 5, or 4 of those teams picked in the top 5?
Yes.
I don't think
Miami
Miami-
didn't. Miami didn't,
No,
right?
they were a little further
Yeah.
back. Yeah. But they also have gutted their roster in a way that nobody else has.
That's right.
Friday, guest Jake Sorensen and I have exchanged texts about going to the Miami-Minnesota game.
Oh,
Midway.
what's the situation?
Week 4, which I think is like
That's
October 5th.
Yeah, that's
somewhere around there.
that's a 3:05 kickoff time.
Oh,
Yeah, Minnesota's got 2 like 3:05 kicks.
that's weird.
One of them is the Tampa game, and then
Yeah, I knew the Tampa.
Miami home game.
Hmm.
Yeah, they got 2 of
That
those.
makes things a little more difficult.
Yeah.
A morning radio.
So Mike Tirico will get to he will get to welcome you to a variety of different places this year. Now, is he doing the Australia one?
No, that's going to be on Netflix, so it'll be a mixture of talent from across the networks. I would assume like Ian Eagle or Noah Eagle will probably do the play-by-play over there, or unless they send in
'cause
Rich Eisen.
The Australia one is on Thursday night, right?
Yeah, it's a
and
Thursday
the
night.
opener on NBC is on Wednesday.
It's on a
night.
Wednesday.
That's
Of
what.
the-
Tarico's doing the Wednesday.
Yes, he's
of
doing
the-
Seattle and New England.
Of the Nepo broadcasters, people like Noah Eagle, right? It's
Yeah, I think we
It's-
tried to not like Noah Eagle, but we have come to like Noah
it's
Eagle.
Collinsworth's kids that
Yes.
basically
Yeah, Jack
got put on the
Collinsworth.
Notre Dame calls and
Yeah.
was pretty bad.
Yeah, Jack's rough.
Yeah.
But he's still there on the pregame show for Sunday Night Football football night in
Who
America.
isn't on that pregame? Like
They have
so
100
many
people. Yeah.
When they do their prediction thing and it fills your entire
It's very
screen.
funny
Yeah.
because they have a studio show with
Now they're
multiple
adding
people. Then they have the crew that travels with them and like does the
We
pregame
gotta
from
check
the
with Mike
sideline.
Florio.
And then they have the broadcast.
I think they got rid of Florio.
Did they?
Yeah, I think they did. I don't know. They got rid of someone and they added Mike Tomlin, of course, on NBC.
Nice. That'll
I
be
like
good.
Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
So it'll be Mike
can't
Tomlin and Jason Garrett on the same, or did Jason Garrett get the axe too?
I think
'Cause
I think Jason Garrett stays in the studio.
they get him out of there. He's
I don't-
terrible.
His maniacal look in the camera is scary.
I know. And Dungy didn't Dungy quit?
I think he's done. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was about to ask that as well.
I think Dungy quit or got fired or something like
I feel
that.
like he didn't really watch the league
No.
much.
No.
He just did the job.
No, him and Jason Garrett were both not bringing much to the table. I don't think.
Jason Garrett, when they would have him on calls, is always great to me too.
Yeah.
It's like, well, in this situation, here's what I was doing, and I was thinking to myself, nobody needs to know.
It's like, oh, really? That's what you were doing?
That's what he did with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So Tarico will be welcoming people to Seattle, New York, Kansas City, Denver, Carolina. Do
Whoa!
you see there is a Sunday night Carolina Lions game in week 4? I don't know when the last time the Panthers had a Sunday night football game, but I am excited for it.
It's been a long time.
It has been a long time.
Probably during the Cam Newton era. Not too sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Would make the most sense.
I genuinely don't know. And then one
do
of
some
the other
research.
highlights of the schedule is also in week 4. Monday night football is the Saints and the Falcons. Apparently the Falcons tried to get out of this game as much as they possibly could. It is the anniversary of the return, Dome Sweet Dome after Katrina game.
Yep.
And it's going to be the same matchup. The Falcons were like, why are you doing this to us again? Why are you giving us an automatic loss?
Yeah.
We are not going to be winning this football game. And yet there they go. They are in that game yet again. That's Monday Night Football.
Will it be
week
Tua?
4.
Will it be Penix? Will it even matter?
I don't know.
There's a little Falcons buzz for 2026.
Really? There was
Stefanski.
Falcons buzz last year, and people.
Yeah, after that Minnesota game where they just
Right,
shut them down.
dismantled
So that didn't scare
Well, then
people
they did
off?
that to the Bills like a few weeks later. And
Yeah,
it's
they
were a
did.
weird Jekyll and Hyde team last year.
That didn't scare people off?
Well, I think
Not
Kevin
really.
Stefanski versus Raheem Morris is like a giant upgrade as a coach. I know our cohort Matt McMaster is not a Kevin Stefanski guy, but
Weird.
2-time coach of the year.
I know.
Spent much of his time at the Browns.
Yeah.
The weirder part is like, is that offense, can Penix stay healthy? Can he do anything with Tua? I don't know which version of them you're going to get, but you still have Bijan, you have Drake London, you have Kyle Pitts. No, or did Kyle Pitts leave?
No, he's still there.
Yeah, he's there.
People love Kyle Pitts
He
now
had a
because
big
he had the
year
4.
last year after doing nothing for the first.
Well, it was
4
all in
years.
that last game. It was all in that, like he had 4 touchdowns in the last week of the regular season.
Well, I had several in that. Kirk Cousins throws for 400 yards against the Tampa defense on Thursday Night Football game too.
Yeah. Yep.
That was Tampa just chose not to cover them the entire game, which was a strategy.
I just got a text. When was the last time an NFL team had 2 left-handed quarterbacks?
Great question.
Ooh.
No idea. So your left-handed quarterbacks of note throughout history, like Mark Brunell.
Mark Brunell. That's the first one that came to my
yeah.
mind.
Vic, right?
Bubby Brister, is he left-handed?
I don't remember Bubby Brister being left-handed. Seems like he was.
I just remember this from NFL Blitz.
David Garrard, because it was weird. The Jaguars basically went from a lefty to a lefty. I'm sure there's.
I asked Al in '97 Burnell and Matthews from '97 Jaguars. '91 Bengals have Boomer Season and Esiason and then Eric Wilhelm.
Okay.
Eric
Okay.
Wilhelm is.
All right.
Apparently he was left-handed.
Hold on, I got to watch some Bubby Brister stuff.
Big Bubby Brister guy.
Well, I just remember playing with him on Blitz. He's right-handed.
With the was it Bubby Brister who replaced John Elway with the Broncos? He was like the first quarterback post Elway after the retirement.
I don't know.
I think it was him, and then it became Brian Greasy.
Yeah, I just got a lot of texts regarding Bubby Brister.
Well, I mean,
he was right-handed. It turns out I made a mistake.
Okay.
I made a mistake. I don't know what I was
Yeah,
thinking of.
I assume it's tough to keep a left-handed backup quarterback.
Mike Vick is the most famous one for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Everyone knows
That
him.
dude could throw it so far.
Very far.
It was incredible. But yes, there's the NFL schedule. All right, Joey, go ahead. What is your takeaway? What is the NFL doing to us?
I mean, they are screwing certain teams in the league. I would say
Who are they screwing?
I would say Kansas City's going to be really upset with their schedule. I tweeted this out yesterday, but they had this gauntlet stretch of tough games, a 3-game road stretch included at Buffalo on Thanksgiving, then followed by a Thursday night at the Rams, see if Matthew Stafford's healthy, then another road game at the Bengals before returning home for a Monday night against the Patriots, and then obviously late afternoon with the 49ers, and then at the Chargers. Pretty huge 6-game road stretch for them, for the Kansas City Chiefs. Also, the Seahawks and the Rams, they play twice in the final 3 weeks of the season. So we don't get to see that NFC championship matchup until Christmas.
Yeah.
They do this with certain divisions.
The Seahawks
every now
will
and
probably
then.
be, 7 games out of first by
Yeah.
then. They were a fluke from last year, so.
Yeah, the Lions Vikings did this a couple years ago after Kirk Cousins got hurt. So
Then they for the primetime games they like flex out, they could it's way easier for them to
they
flex.
changed
them.
the flex rules, right? Like
Yeah.
that's one of the things
I got the flex rules right here. I could read them to you guys.
Send me those flex rules, Joey.
Yeah, I could send.
Or no, just read.
I'll just read. So Sunday night can be flex on 12 days notice between weeks 5 to 10, and the maximum for doing that is twice. For Monday night football, they can be flex on a 12-day notice as well, but that's going to happen between weeks 12 and 17. Then Sunday night can be flex on a 6-day notice, so the week of, which is between weeks 12 and then obviously all the way to week 18 when they have to decide on one. And then Thursday night, they can be flexed on a 28-day notice, and that's just between weeks 13 and 15. So
they're going to flex Thursday night games.
They can do that, but it has to be a 1-month notice. The Thursday night,
which you got to
feels
be
like a
really bad.
disaster.
You got to be really
so
bad.
the Thursday night,
But those are the best Thursday night games sometimes.
So
we actually got good Thursday night games this year.
so
Good. I like Thursday night football. I'm all in Thursday night.
So the Thursday nights for weeks 13 to 15. 13 is the Chiefs and Rams. Then it's the Vikings at Patriots, so that could potentially be flex. And then the last one for week 15, that's going to be the 49ers at the Chargers. So those games could potentially be non-Thursday night. But again, it has to be a month notice to actually do that move.
All we know is half the playoffs change every year, and this year will be no exception to it. And so,
are we picking playoff teams based on the schedule?
We are not picking playoff teams yet. I'm not ready for that.
I'm not ready for that.
Jeez, come on.
I'm not ready.
You just pick teams. I haven't even looked at the schedule.
The schedule wouldn't matter.
Right. You're just picking teams. We're going vibes.
But I'm not ready because I haven't picked out my bad vibes team yet.
One thing I will say is Matt's going to have a night.
Obviously, the Patriots.
They're definitely a contender at the moment. My bad vibes team each of the last 2 years has hit.
Okay.
So I'm excited.
Connor's pretty accurate. I think Matt's going to have a nightmare final stretch of the season because it contains a Saturday night showdown at Buffalo, then a Christmas matchup against the Packers, then hosting the Lions right after that, and then going to Minnesota. They finished the season with 3 straight division games.
They probably win the Vikings game when Minnesota's 13-3 going into that one. So,
yeah.
And the Bears are fighting for 500 at that time.
Probably.
All right. Let's do our city.
It'd be JJ McCarthy starting that game.
9!
There we go.
Our city of the day is, for some reason, New Haven, Connecticut. Get ready to talk about ferries and interstates and pizza
and seafood.
Yeah, that's right. When we return on 1620 The Zone.
We learned this city. We learned this city on Happen. Schaefer learned this city. We learned this city on Happen. Schaefer.
City of the day, we explore. I mean, we don't have to, it doesn't have to be just the continental United States. It could be a variety of different places, but we're exploring all of our areas of the country, some of which we have been to, some of which we have not. Today's City of the Day, for what reason again? Because
it was a Nebraska basketball conversation.
That's right.
New Haven happened to be in that discussion.
New Haven is on the schedule next year.
There you go.
For Nebraska basketball, which is a huge game. And so we were like, let's go. New Haven, Connecticut. Let's get some pizza. And that's where we go today for our City of the Day. New Haven is most famously the home of Yale. So it's got some distinction there. The population as of the 2020 census is 134,000. 137 is the estimate as of a couple of years ago. It is a coastal town. For the most part, it is on the north end of the Long Island Sound, which there's a gap there between Connecticut, the rest of the continental United States, and then Long Island, which juts out and is a part of New York. So there are ferry options. There are multiple ferry options, not directly from New Haven, though. You'd have to go down to Bridgeport or New London, which is up the road a little bit. New Haven is famously, people love to say famously, about an hour away from where I was born.
Famously, this is what it's known for, really.
Famously.
So you've been to New Haven?
I actually don't know that I have.
Wow.
I'm not sure. We would always go to, because I was born in White Plains, New York, and we would always go to Stamford, Connecticut, which is to go to the grocery store.
The home of the WWE, WWF.
Is that where that is?
Pretty sure.
Stamford, Connecticut.
There's all these things that are in Connecticut that I sort of like. ESPN in Bristol.
Yeah.
And then
you got UConn.
UConn's in Stores, but they play sometimes in Hartford, which you explained to me, which I didn't realize.
It's the great connector. It's like part New York and it's part
city.
Boston.
Yeah. Well, it just sits between those two, behemoths, and
precisely
sort of has value because of that alone.
Precisely. Joey, interstates.
Definitely 95 is running through New Haven.
You got it. Also,
oh boy, I think it's going to be 91 or 93.
91 is right.
Oh yeah, it's the north and south corridor going up towards Montreal, and that's how you have to get there.
You got it. Yeah, so I would imagine
91 goes through Vermont, I believe.
So does 91 probably just ends in New Haven, I would imagine.
Yeah, it does. And
because that's where
it's the north south corridor.
Do you want some New Haven facts?
Yes, I do.
All right. Here's one that caught me by surprise. The hamburger is often claimed to have been invented here at Lewis's Lunch.
Yeah, that's I've seen videos of this before.
Yeah,
they put it in like a cage.
Okay.
They put
they kind of flip it around.
Yeah, right. And
I've seen those.
And they slap it on a piece of bread. Like it looks.
They're kind of like sliders or something.
It looks horrendous.
All right.
But it is the first burger ever.
Yeah, I think they're small as like a slider. It's like a precursor to White Castle.
Okay.
I think the founder, I guess, if you would, of Webster's Dictionary, Noah Webster, was born in New Haven.
Wow.
Other things that I found sort of interesting here. This city was once designed to be or intended to be a rival of Boston. Just stopped growing. And it briefly was once the co-capital. Connecticut once had co-capital cities.
Whoa.
Just like they share the UConn basketball team. They once shared their capital.
Didn't Nebraska have co-capital at one
Nebraska's
point?
capital was once Omaha, and then it went to Lincoln.
They never shared for any moment?
They shared.
No, I don't think
I don't
so.
remember what the rationale for why it moved to Lincoln was either, because Omaha makes more sense in terms of the commerce of the river and everything.
Right.
But I don't remember. My Nebraska history is fuzzy as to why it moved to Lincoln.
So
but I don't remember them ever being co-capitals.
So Yale University, also the home of Southern Connecticut State University, a couple colleges there. And then there's a couple schools that are right outside of New Haven. Quinnipiac is right to the north in the town of Hamden. And then the University of New Haven is not located in New Haven, but instead in neighboring West Haven. And they will be making the trip to Lincoln, which is the newest capital of Nebraska, of course. And its former haven was an old capital of Connecticut. All right. So livability.com named New Haven as the best foodie city in the country in 2014, which is kind of absurd to me. And
again, geographically located in a place to be that.
Its greatest culinary claim, of course, is its pizza, which is claimed to be among the best in the country or even the world. New Haven style pizza called A Pizza made its debut at the iconic Frank Pepe Pizzeria in Napolitana. It is known more commonly as Pepe's in 1925. A pizza is baked in coal or wood-fired brick ovens and is notable for its thin crust. A pizza may be red or white, and pies are ordered, this is how East Coasters do it, plain or made without the otherwise customary mozzarella. A white clam pie is as well known as a specialty of the restaurants on Worcester Street in the Little Italy section of New Haven, including Pepe's and Sally's A Pizza, which opened in 1938. Modern A Pizza on State Street, which opened in 1934, is also well known. And then Louis' Lunch has the burger.
Food.
Inventing the hamburger.
Wow.
Imagine that claim. I made the hamburger.
Yeah, pretty good claim.
That is a terrific claim.
And they put it in a cage, apparently. I'm gonna have to watch that video.
Yeah, I think
I've seen
that's
it several times.
I think that's the place that it is.
Okay.
It's kind of like in a little old shack or something like that.
All right, so ferries, like I said, you could go down south a little bit to Bridgeport and go across Long Island Sound on the Bridgeport Port Jefferson ferry, which I've been on the other side of that ferry, Port Jeff, before, which is a fantastic little town on Long Island. And then I actually took the New London Orient Point ferry a couple of years ago. You drive the car on there and you go across, and then all of a sudden you're at the northeastern tip of Long Island.
Driving onto a ferry is a somewhat unnerving experience.
It's a very fun experience.
It is, but like when you're parking that thing, or they're like you are in there tight.
Yep.
There is just
and
enough
it's a
room.
boat, so it's moving the
Yep.
entire. Your things have shifted.
No.
And it's very, very careful the way they go about it.
In my case, you're in Iceland and they're yelling at you in a language you don't understand.
That is
in a vehicle that isn't yours.
That is confusing.
Yeah, that was.
So there you go. It is on the Long Island Sound. There's only two ways to cross it, or you could get in your own little paddle boat and fly across there. I suppose if you want to. Famous people from New Haven. A lot of them are just people who went to Yale.
Yeah,
but
all the smart people.
I don't know that really counts.
Now, you wouldn't say famous people from Lincoln because they went to school in Lincoln.
So the best one that I could come up with who did go to Yale but was born in New Haven is this man I'm looking at on my screen right now. Schaefer, who is that?
That is the wonderful, incomparable, tremendously talented son of former baseball commissioner Paul Giamatti.
Paul Giamatti is from New Haven.
Absolutely a gift to America.
Which I don't even think that I knew that he went to Yale.
Nope. Didn't know that. Baltimore is what he's synonymous for me, because that's kind of where he lived when his dad was the commissioner and everything else. But I don't know. For some reason, maybe it's just because he's a big O's fan. That's why I think he's at least that's what I thought it was.
Probably. I suppose you could be a fan of anything if you live up in that area of the country. There's just so many.
Here's your ChatGPT 30-second script.
Good.
New Haven, Connecticut, population around 135,000, is best known as the home of Yale University, one of the most influential schools in the world. Founded in 1638, the city blends colonial history, Ivy League prestige, and surprisingly passionate food culture. In fact, New Haven style A Pizza is considered by many to be the best pizza in America, thanks to legendary spots like Frank Pepe's and Sally's. It's a compact Northeast city with outsized influence in education, medicine, and food.
And finally, our final question: could Matt live here?
I'm going to say no.
I'm going to say no. I agree with you, Schaefer. I think this is too.
I think his imposter syndrome would be out of this world.
Yeah, I think it's a little too coastal too, a little too breezy and light.
Maybe a little too educational.
I'm going to say no on
I'm a
that
no.
one, as that is our city of the day, New Haven, Connecticut. Visit New Haven, I'm sure.com. Back after this on 1620 The Zone. Oh, is this true? Befrey Mike writes in on YouTube. He says, Lincoln Mayor Lyrian Gaylor Baird, famously a Yale grad. Is this true?
Yeah, she went to Yale.
And she wants everybody to know that she's from Yale? She's of Yale?
I think it was like part of the biographical thing that would get mentioned about her every time before the first time she got elected, and I don't think it's really ever come up since.
I might be digging into something that I don't want to be digging into, but where did she come from?
I think she's originally from Lincoln.
Okay,
and then
that's good.
Went to Yale and then came back to Lincoln.
Oh, gotcha. Just took a quick, college tour at Yale.
Ben Sass, a Yale guy, I think. Is that right? He had some connection with Yale, I thought.
Really? I don't know. I don't know about that. I felt like he was
wrong.
Nebraska all the way through.
I could be wrong on that. For some reason, I thought maybe.
Once again, digging into things that are very hot button issues these days. Where did he? He went to Nebraska.
He studied at Harvard, St. John's, and Yale.
Harvard, St. John's, and Yale.
Yeah, so a rare Harvard and Yale. But I thought did he get a law degree from Yale? Or
I thought he got his law degree from Nebraska, but maybe that seems completely wrong.
He got a Master's of Arts from Yale, a Master's of Philosophy from Yale, and a PhD from Yale.
That's a lot of degrees, man.
Yeah, he has many degrees.
That's a lot of degrees.
On how I say that.
Yeah, that's a lot of degrees. Here is Matt Rhule on Twitter. Clock emoji, calendar emoji, red dot emoji, wave emoji, the stock up sign emoji, stadium emoji, star emoji, helicopter emoji, pin emoji, and then red block and white block.
It's on the video stream if you're watching the YouTube stream.
Emojis. What does it mean? Well, in this case, it's actually, I don't actually care what it means. I just know what it's in reference to. And it's their big 7-on-7 thing that they're doing this summer, which like I said, they're trying to get people to go to, and they're trying to get some excitement going for it. Seems like. At least I assume that's what about. I mean, all the news came out all at the same time last night, so I just figured that Matt Rhule is back on his emoji.
It was a really successful event for them last year, so I'm not surprised that they're going to try to. They caught a lot of other places by surprise by doing this and being able to hold it because they found workarounds to be able to have these guys on campus and do the 7-on-7 thing, which technically is against the rules, but they're able to build it as a camp.
I thought Nebraska was the only one who was following the rules.
Well, no, they followed the rules. They worked with the NCAA to make sure this was all on the up and up.
Thank God.
It had to be structured in a certain way for this to happen. And so then once they did it, the sort of prevailing wisdom was you were going to see this from the Florida States and the Texases and the other places.
And has that happened?
I think like Texas A&M is doing something similar. I'd have to check. I mean, I'm kind of out of that world now. So I don't care.
So when you saw Matt Rhule's emoji tweets as for the first time since not being in the recruiting world, what sensation came over you?
I was like, I want to check these comments, and they were exactly as I expected them.
I haven't looked at them yet. Should I look at them for the first time right now?
Yeah, I mean, you can. I don't think you're going to be able to read some of them.
Okay, interesting.
I personally don't have any problem and/or care that he does this.
I don't either.
There's people that seem to think this prohibits his ability to develop players and win football games.
Yeah, that's so weird to me.
Yeah, that's why I just sometimes wonder, like, if people allow themselves to believe that anyone could possibly do anything outside of just being the football coach for every second of every day.
I don't know. Maybe we don't help this because it is neither good nor bad. Everyone always wants to do black and white, right? Good or bad, or positive or negative, or whatever it is. I'm like, It doesn't have to be any of those things. It's just a tweet from Matt Rhule. But yet there's a billion responses to this, and they're all like, yes, coach, I love it. I cannot wait. It sounds good. Or they're like, you suck. Go back to coaching football.
Stop tweeting.
Please,
focus on football.
Please stop tweeting immediately.
Yeah. It's like there's a catch-22 of being the Nebraska football coach that if you are too public, you're too public. If you're not public enough, then you're not doing enough to help, the university grow and your brand and everything else. And ultimately, it always comes down to what it always comes down to. You win enough football games, whatever you do won't matter.
Mhm.
So, in that essence, Nebraska wins more football games. He can make more emoji tweets.
Here's a response from Bully. How much of the university's money have you spent on flying their private jet to the Masters, NBA Finals, UFC, etc., instead of doing what you're paid $9 million a year to do?
Again,
I believe that is what he is paid $9 million to do, actually.
Yeah. Meet with donors.
Yeah.
Be public facing.
Yeah.
But this just falls on deaf ears. Like, the people that are going to be mad about this are always going to be mad about it. No matter what.
Here's the
every freaking time.
Here's the thing. Like,
there's people that thought he went to the Derby, talked themselves into that he went to the Derby, foamed at the mouth that he went to the Derby, and he was in Lincoln, Nebraska. Because people just cannot help but be angered that someone has a life in which they do things that they're probably jealous of, but they're also the football coach and the football team hasn't won enough games.
that can be true. They have not won enough games.
Yeah.
And all that stuff, but it doesn't have to be the other way. I want to hone in for a second on I think one of the main issues at hand here, which is there is this, and maybe like Cignetti doesn't help with this. Cignetti seemingly doesn't help anybody else do
Cignetti
anything.
Cignetti is a unicorn. We don't have to.
But you don't know where I'm going here.
Right.
This is not about the winning and the losing. The part that's most impressive to me about Cignetti and what he's able to do in this day and age is he like actually is just a football coach. He doesn't do any of the other stuff. Like, he's very clear about it.
Sure.
He's not going on, he's not, to my knowledge, obviously I'm not, very close to it. Certainly not as close as I am to the Nebraska situation. To my knowledge, he's not going off and speaking at events and doing donor, meetups and stuff like this. I'm sure he gets called into action occasionally on that, but it seems as if he is very, very selective in what and how he uses his time. And any time that he isn't doing football stuff feels like wasted time.
Right.
That's not how Matt Rhule looks at it. And that's okay. But
that's not how a lot of coaches look at it.
That's not a lot of coaches look at it. But I do think that is how a lot of people look at it. They say, I want my football coach to be my football coach. I don't need him to be a spokesperson for the program. Or I don't know. I've heard it the other way too. And people have been like, yeah, I actually need the coach to be a spokesperson for the program. But maybe he's just not doing it the right way. Certainly he's not winning enough games right now, and that affects the entire conversation. But I know that there are some people who are like, I don't want to hear about any of this other stuff. Like, just go coach football. And it has been done successfully at a place, and they've won a national championship. And I do think that creeps into people's minds.
Yeah, but that's also what I mean by it. It like Cignetti stands off on his own, where you have these profiles written about him, where it's like, yeah, this guy is doing this interview while he's watching film, not even looking at you while he's talking because he's watching film. Like, this is his aura. That's what he presents and creates about himself. There's a ton of other football coaches that go around the country and do things when it's not football season, and you don't hear about it. Instead, it's celebrated like Lane Kiffin's at the CWS because Ole Miss is here. Look at this. That's great.
Well, I mean, there was some there's been some frustration with Lane getting a little overexposed.
Sure. There's frustration because he probably hasn't won enough to some level of a fan. Like, I don't understand what you want these people, and they are people. They're not just a football coach. Now, Curt Cignetti might literally just be the one guy who is a football coach, other than maybe Bill Belichick, who's no longer a football coach. He is I don't even know what you would call him anymore, since Jordan Hudson is like the biggest part of the
boyfriend.
Yeah, he's the most famous sugar daddy
Partner.
the college football world. There's just this element where I don't know why people care so much about this. I really don't. It's not affecting his ability to be a football coach. I don't believe that him going to a game at Madison Square Garden in April in the spring.
I don't think it is either. No, I definitely don't think
I know that you don't think that.
Yeah.
But there's a decent segment of people who really think that there's a better use of his time than that. And I want to know, like, why? Why do they care?
I will say this, like, this is a more broad general thing, and it applies to Rhule, but it's not about Rhule. Like, I think coaches are overexposed. Like, I think
Because
I think coaches take it upon
celebrities.
Yeah, but I think at times they take it upon themselves to be like, hey, listen, man, I'm the voice of the state. I got to do this and this and this and this. And it's like, yeah, I get, like, you are, but that doesn't mean you have to be out there all the time talking about, whatever it is you're going to talk. Like, you don't have to do this. These are elective things. And I do think there are a lot of coaches who are overexposed. And then when you are overexposed, I mean, we talked about it with Trey Taylor. He's very overexposed on social media. The conversation turns into a different place that or maybe you slip up and you say something that you really wish you wouldn't have said if you're Lane Kiffin or something like that. Or maybe he doesn't wish he wouldn't have said, like, maybe he doesn't care about any of this stuff at all. But there's so much conversation about them because of how much they're out there. Yeah. And then it gets, it gets floated off into several universes away, and it is not based in reality anymore. So what does this actually mean for the coach? Like, in his ability to coach football, like you said, nothing, not zip, nothing, absolutely nothing.
Right.
But I do think they're like, they don't need to, there's a little bit of enhanced sense of self-importance that bothers me with some of these football coaches. You're not that important. That's what I, and once again, that ain't about Rhule. That like specific. That's about college football coaches. Well, they all think they're the most important person.
It's also just what we are as a society. Like, it's of value to whoever has the ability to show that Matt Rhule's at the basketball game to put him on the big screen, or Matt Rhule's doing this, or Nebraska's social media thinks that it's important to show this. We also really pick and choose, like, what's overexposed and what's not overexposed. Like, he's not the only coach that's gone around and done things.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's everybody.
He's not the only coach at Nebraska going around and doing things.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, he's the only coach where it's a conversation every time he does anything. And it's because he's not winning.
Some of it is some of it is just the nature of college football versus the other.
Yeah, it's a bigger sport than volleyball or basketball or whatever else. Yeah. Those coaches have been doing things.
Yeah.
But nobody cares that Fred Hoiberg's at a Timberwolves game. Nobody cares that Danny Busboom Kelly's at the, Kentucky Derby, or she went to the Masters or whatever else.
But like, there's going and then not going, and then there's like going. He's like, hey, I feel like I got to show my face at this thing or something like that. And we can't tell what the people who go to random sporting events objectives are, but for some people, it is like, hey, I got to show my face.
Right.
I gotta be here because this is what I gotta do. I'm like, yeah, you don't really.
I'd be curious if it's his objective or if it's the University of Nebraska wants to promote.
I don't know. It's a great question. I'm not sure.
So, like, some of it is just like, if he's not the one making the tweet, if it's just a social media post from the University of Nebraska, like, they're the ones that are choosing to show this. Like, hey, our coaches are in Houston supporting the basketball team, or whatever else.
Sure.
And then it shows up on TV, and then immediately becomes did Nebraska lose because Matt Rhule was shown on television?
Yeah,
which understandably we know is a dumb conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But it just amazes me how much people care about this stuff, like, continually.
Yeah, like I said though, I mean, I don't know. Does that make sense to you? Like, I don't.
I understand where you're coming from, that there's just an overexposed element, but that's just celebrity. That's celebrity culture in general.
Yeah, I think a lot of college football coaches
are celebrities,
and athletic college sports coaches, they feel like they're more important than they are. Like, I just think we see that a lot. And
when you get told over and over that you're super important and you're the savior of the state of a million plus people,
that's the bothersome. Like, when you really, I think, dig into it, that's the bothersome part. And not that any of this bothers me, but like, if you're really digging into it, it's like, yeah, I don't need to see X coach everywhere for a variety of different reasons, but mostly like, why is it always about this person? And why do they feel like they have to show up to all these things? You know, maybe I am way psychoanalyzing this or whatever. That's just, once again, that is not a Rhule thing. That is an every coach thing. And, you know, you can tell by when they get up there and they talk at the podium during their press conferences. You know, we always talk about that with Rhule, about like, hey, or you know, because we psychoanalyze this crap, and he gets up there on a Monday and someone's like, well, you know, who do we think he's talking to there? Is he talking to the players? Is he talking to the other coaches? Is he talking to the media? Is he talking to the entire state? And I'm like, oh my God, he's just talking. You know, so some of that is us. Absolutely. I completely agree with you.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it is us in some ways, because we're the one having the conversation on it all the time.
Yeah.
Not you and I, but collectively, whether it's the media or the fan base or anything else. But I guess I just don't know. I don't understand if there's this perfect level of exposure versus overexposure versus underexposure. Because again, if Matt Rhule is never visible in the offseason, there's an element of this fan base that are going to be equally up in arms about that.
Now, probably not.
Well, maybe not specifically now, but in general, yes. Like after you've been hired or whatever else. Now, again, it all comes back to how people feel about what happens on the football field. And then we take all of that and we put it on everything that happens away from the football field. It's why during the Scott Frost era, I got so tired of being asked about all of these things that had nothing to do with the fact that they never won football games. And it was, are these rumors true? Is this true? Is he in this bar? Does he play Golden Tee? Does this happen? They suck on the football field. Be mad about that. Why do we spend so much energy on what happens away from football on these people? It's because we treat them as celebrities. It's because everything they do becomes news to some level. And then we have to opine about it. And then here we are 18 minutes into a segment talking about this, which actually started with emojis of all things.
Emojis. That's right. We could turn, this is a great radio show. We could turn emojis into 17 and a half minutes on the radio.
That's content for you.
Look at us. Here's a text from John. I actually don't know how much of this is the fan base and how much of this is Matt Rhule should be an athletic director and not a coach. Traveling to all the different games, speaking philosophically about college sports, that's for an athletic director. And for one, I would love it if he came to the realization that he should just go be an athletic director somewhere. Like, I think, I guess one of my things with him in particular, Rhule in particular, is that I don't really know like what he wants to, like. I kind of thought my read on him at first was that he was going to be, pretty quiet, and it was going to be sort of boring. And not that it hasn't been boring, but that he was on the line of like football coach to shameless promoter. Like he would be way closer to football coach, and that's what I thought at first. And that has not been the case.
I think if only because
he clearly likes the other stuff.
Well, he likes barnstorming. He likes,
yes.
I mean, people are going to hate this, but I mean, he's a politician football coach.
Yeah.
That's what it is. He likes rallies. He likes being in front of people. He likes talking. He likes all of these things. There's an element of people that hate all of that.
Yep.
And so, you have to live with that to a degree. But that's what he was down in Baylor, but it was just different because Baylor doesn't have the cachet, or didn't at that time. And he did a lot of it just in Texas. I mean, did a lot of stuff in Texas. He was at everything in Texas.
He did.
I don't remember it as much with Carolina, but it's different with an NFL coach, I think. And for some reason, NFL coaches have less celebrity than college coaches in a lot of ways, which is kind of fascinating. Unless you're Mike Vrabel at the moment.
Yes.
But
he has a little more celebrity than everybody.
Yeah.
And so that for him.
That's kind of interesting in itself. But
all right. Well,
let's talk to a college coach.
Let's talk to a college football coach, and we'll see if he's more football coach or I think he's more football coach.
He's got some politicians.
He does. He really does.
I
So
love Dan. I can't
Dan
wait
Jackson is our next guest. He's the head coach at South Dakota State. We have a variety of very challenging and difficult questions for him. Coming up next on 1620 The Zone. All right. So welcome back. More of Happer and Schaefer here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Mike Schaefer with you this morning, and we are pleased to be joined on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline by our good friend Dan Jackson, the head coach, South Dakota State football. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
I'm great, fellas. Good morning. I think this Friday made a lot of sense. We actually played New Haven this year, too. I don't know if you guys looked at the schedule, so I know you guys were talking about them earlier.
Whoa.
But,
yes,
look
New
at
Haven,
that.
Connecticut was our city of the day, which New Haven University of New Haven, whatever it is not actually in New Haven. It turns out it's in
not.
West Haven.
It is. It is. I was Googling that myself, too, when they ended up on our schedule.
So we should have called you. You would have been
yeah.
helpful for city of the day today.
Yeah. I had to do a little bit of background check when I got here, and I saw them on the schedule last year. I was thinking, okay, where are these guys at? What do they do? What conference are they in? We got them all figured out now.
Okay.
No, this morning I'm actually about to play some golf here in about 30 minutes, and it's a heck of a tournament we're in with a bunch of donors out here in the middle of South Dakota.
Terrific. Well, I was just going to ask, like, what does May 15th look like for a college football coach these days?
It's still a recruiting period. We attacked it really hard the first few weeks after spring ball ended for us on April 18th. And then this week I'm doing a bunch of donor events, and then I gave the staff next week off. You know, a lot of times college football coaches take the month of July off. That's really hard for me to do because the players are there working and training, and it's hard for me to take a vacation when I know the players are getting up at 6 a.m. and working out. So we're doing ours in May when they're back home over break. So yeah, I mean, it never stops. And I'll be FaceTiming and Zooming recruits the entire time, but it'd be good to get away.
Dan, for those that don't know, you came back to South Dakota State last year to take over the program. Your first year as a head coach with South Dakota State. You kind of look back on it. How do you feel like that first year went? What do you feel like you learned the most going through that whole experience? You've been in college football a long time, but first time as a head coach.
No, truly, it was the exact first year that we needed. And, we came into a tough situation. Their expectations are high. Winning national championships is a standard here, but we had 40-some players on the team, and I was the only staff member in the building for about 2 weeks. I mean, it was a chaotic situation to come into. I'll never forget those days, though I'd like to sometimes. But to me, what I learned is you just got to win every day, and your job as a head coach sometimes is being a professional problem solver. As much as it is the scheme and the X's and O's and the recruiting, there's always something that's popping up, and you need to attack it with a positive attitude and find a creative solution to get things done. I think a lot of people in today's world of college football are complaining a lot when really at the end of the day, find a way, and so it was just kind of finding a way last year, but we started 7-0 and beat Montana State on the road and showed we could be a national power. And then when we got hurt, it was the perfect thing to go through where we actually went through a little bit of a losing stretch there. We lost 4 straight games and then came back and battled towards the end of the season. And I think all those things, I know that all those things were critical to the foundation that needed to be laid for us to be able to take off now. So I'm really grateful for all the ups and downs of last year and how much I've grown.
Obviously, Coach, you inherited a program that was in pretty good shape, and you start off the way you started off last year. Like, what was the sort of process for you of you want to put your stamp on it, but you also want to be careful and not change too much because obviously it's gone pretty well. What was that balance like, and what is it like now with a year underneath your belt?
Yeah, I think for being here 8 years as an assistant, we had opportunities to leave probably every year of those, but we chose to stay because the mission was to win a national championship. It wasn't to advance to a new school. So, being here that long, I understood the culture. I knew what I was walking into. I knew what the kids knew and understood and how they were going to operate. But the best thing for me was leaving from 2019 to 24 because when I look back at it, the growth that happened during that time is really what helped me be able to have some success in this position and put our team in a spot right now to be able to go compete for a national title. I mean, to learn from a Thomas Hammock, who's now at the Seattle Seahawks, and his first time through it, to get down there with Clark Lee and help him build Vanderbilt, and then get back with Jason Eck, a guy that's crushing it at New Mexico now and one of my best friends. I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better group of mentors to watch them go through being a head coach for the first time and be really their right-hand guy through that was critical. And so I think the experience leaving and then coming back, definitely I'm putting my own stamp on it. I myself, I think the biggest way to get yourself in trouble is to not be true to yourself. and not be authentic with who you are. But at the same time, when at my core, I'm a jackrabbit, it's a little bit easier to connect with the players and know what to change and know what traditions to never change. So
Right.
It's been about as smooth as it could be.
So you're going through this spring. It's the first spring where there's not a transfer portal period. How big of a change is that for you, especially at maybe the FCS level where you might have gotten some guys that would bounce back or leave places like Nebraska or some of the area schools, Iowa State, and would look at South Dakota State as a potential landing spot? Like, has that made a big difference in how you go about building your roster for the upcoming year?
Mike, it's drastically different. A year ago, if there wasn't a spring portal, we'd have been in trouble. We needed to add 64 new players when I got there, and I didn't take the job till January 1st, and the portal had been open, and I was trying to retain our team. I mean, we lost a group of 30 seniors, and then 20 other kids were going to Wazoo with a previous head coach. You know, we needed both portal windows to make sure we took the time to build the team correctly. I mean, and Alex Bullock, who had 1,000 yards for us last year, you know, we didn't get Alex until June, is when he showed up. And so that was needed then. Now, fast forward to right now, I couldn't be more grateful that there is not another portal window. At this golf outing that I'm at right now, a year ago, I was FaceTiming transfers, constantly connecting with our players. There was no coach's vacation when your players could still both, I mean, it's constant recruiting your roster, but more so just investing them in as people. So it's slowed down. You feel really good knowing what your team and your roster is. And then we went into January with a clear vision of what we needed and how to get them. And I thought we crushed it. I would love to talk roster building with you guys at some point, because that's truly a passion.
Yeah. Well, let's dive into those waters a little bit right now. And it's like, you could take it wherever you want to, but there's got to be a balance into how you approach a daily basis as far as roster building is concerned. And then how much you're dealing with the financial side of things. Like, how do you even start that process of do you start it from a football side or do you start it from a financial side? Like, where do you go?
I think it's like starting a company. You got to build it from the business and the foundational side of how you're going to operate. You need to hire really good people and trust them to do their job. So I've hired a really good staff. We took time to do that. There's a good mix of some guys that I had worked with and knew previously that had been at South Dakota State, and then some new energy and vision and ideas. And I trust our staff so much. And the jobs that are so critical that never get talked about are the strength coach, your athletic trainer, and your chief of staff. I mean, we've got 3 of the best guys in the country at those positions. So that puts my mind at ease knowing the players are okay. And I'm good getting in front of the guys and building the culture and the relationship and that part of it. But then I do believe it's the job of the head coach to build the roster. If we bring the wrong person here, that's my fault. If we bring, if we're heavily involved in a top recruit, I need to be involved in that. And so from a roster building standpoint, I'm the only one that makes any offers. It starts with that. We do that because we only offer real committable offers, which is much different than most places these days. We've offered 39 players and we have 13 kids verbally committed already. I think we do it a little bit different because I have a clear vision of the system and the scheme, and more so the person that we want to bring into this program. So if I'm going to be as involved as I want to be in recruiting, you can't offer 300. I can't have a great relationship with 300 kids. Mm-hmm. That's impossible. But I can with 30 to 50 and really truly get to know them. And so, yeah, from the talent evaluation standpoint, then from a relationship building standpoint and offering a closing, I'm involved every step of the way with that. And then really how to navigate the transfer portal. We don't want to be a big portal team. We want to be a high school development team that can retain the roster. But I had a clear vision that the best players in Division II can be great players for us. And we attacked that. And that's really where we got majority of our transfers from. And I think a few of those kids are going to be NFL players. So it kind of starts with setting the vision and trusting your staff. But from a roster building standpoint, I need to be involved.
You've had a lot of different roles as a coach over the last, leading up to this point, being the head coach now at South Dakota State. Dan Jackson, by the way, is with us. What were your strengths, your perceived strengths as far as that is concerned? And then how do you carry that over to being a head coach when there's so many other things on your plate?
Yeah, perceived strengths. Everybody, thinks of me as a recruiter and a hustler that way. And I do pride myself on being able to build strong relationships and people trust you. But the things that I enjoyed the most is once I got somebody, was able to develop them. and you can develop somebody when you can capture their heart and their mind and they believe in you with all that they have, then you're on this mission with this young guy from 17 to 22 or 3. And that's a really special 4 or 5 years. And so I've really taken the ability to build a roster and have clear vision and build relationships and add talent. Talent evaluation is something that I feel really confident in. So those things need to be strengths of a head coach, in my opinion. But the fun part's been kind of learning my way in the transition of I'm not in the trenches every day running the drills with the players. I hop in from time to time, but it's being able to coach the coaches has maybe been the biggest transition in the area that I'm more comfortable with now. Is being able to hold our staff accountable and push them and inspire them and try to capture their heart and their mind, not just the players. And so I think the relationship building, the culture aspect of it, being true to yourself, I'm always going to be real with that and have some good self-awareness on areas I need to improve in our program. So, yeah, I think all the things that you learn as an assistant get magnified when you become a head coach.
I want to ask you about a fellow Omaha guy, just like yourself, Tyler Rice. He's the GM for you at South Dakota State, and you went into to Omaha to bring him with you to South Dakota State. Why was he such an important bring for you as you built this staff last year?
Tyler was critical at our level. You know, a general manager's role is a lot different than it is at a Nebraska, guys. You need somebody. You're going to get a young guy that's a hustler, that's energetic, that you know, needs to be able to think like you think. I've known Tyler for a long time. I actually recruited him when he was a high schooler. I remember him coming to our camp and working out for me at DB. I give him a hard time because we didn't offer him, but you know, to have him is so crucial, from his ability to bounce the transfer portal, the academic side of it, make sure transcripts are there, and then making point of attack tapes. You know, he's just integral to make sure we don't miss. He's getting me the details that we need to make sure that we're on the right guys. And then he can be in another extension of me. I'm out golfing today. Well, Tyler's going to call our committed and offered guys today for me. You know, he's really an extension of the head coach in so many ways. And it's crucial you have somebody in that role that you really trust, because quickest way to screw your team up is to screw the roster up. And with him, you know, by my side, we're not going to do that.
Dan,
the Nebraska thing, Schaefer, you know, is going to be close to my heart too. We're gonna have a staff that's not going to miss in Nebraska.
Yeah, well, you've been known for that for
The Nebraska Jacks
for a long time. The Nebraska Jacks, I assume, are still rolling on pretty strong here, right?
Oh yeah, we signed 5 last year. Barry Freeze, who came up this January as an early enrollee, he was committed to Iowa State, and then we ended up getting him through that coaching transition, and he felt comfortable joining us all along. I mean, he was really impressive. But this class, I mean, Grant Kuhlman, Alex Zuckman, Treston Haas might be the most underrated recruit in Nebraska a year ago because he had torn his ACL in the summer. You know, it's a huge priority for us to do well in all of our local areas. But I think I know Nebraska so well that the guys that we do add, I know we're going to hit on, and I know, you know, maybe a guy not to take too. So yeah, it's live and well, and we just added one, you know, this last week, verbally committed, and I think there'll be one or two more before it's all said and done.
So not a Nebraskan, but a guy with a Nebraska connection. Chase Mason looks like he's returning again for you guys this year. What's it mean to have that at quarterback? I know your season changed a little bit when he was out at times last year.
Oh, Chase is, I truly believe this, and you know I'm the eternal optimist, but I think Chase was the best quarterback if he would have came out in the NFL draft this year. He just didn't have as many starts. You know, he's played 9 games in his career as a years, but it means everything. First, for who he is. When I took the job here, Chase could have transferred to a lot of places. I remember calling him. He's a small town South Survivor kid, and he said, "Coach, you don't have to worry about me. Let's go build a team." You know, that was my first conversation with him. So his level of loyalty and humility is different. So,
I wonder where this golf.
I mean, I spoke against Will Levis.
Dan, you're cutting out a little bit here. Where, by the way, if you can hear me, where is this golf tournament located?
Can you guys hear me? I'm in Agar, South Dakota.
That might explain
Agar,
everything.
South Dakota is not helping us with the cell phone reception at the moment.
I'm sorry, guys. We're driving out there. It's one players in the country.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely, Dan. Well, we'll let you go. We appreciate it.
We'll do this again for sure.
We absolutely will. Thanks for taking the time. Good to talk to you.
All right, guys.
All right, Dan Jackson from South Dakota State, their head coach. And so Chase Mason, the former Nebraska baseball player. Yeah, he's there.
Will Bolt's staff loved Chase Mason.
Everybody loved Chase Mason.
He was there was talk of him being a Major League Baseball.
When you said that, I was like, oh my God, he's still eligible?
Yeah, so he got a waiver for this past year based on from what I understand, more or less, he ended up going to Nebraska to play baseball because he was never recruited for football because he tore his ACL. And so he was able to kind of get a waiver because he didn't have the experience of being able to play football to start with. And then he had another medical waiver in there. He's really good.
Yeah.
Like South Dakota State's fortunes pretty much rise and fall, I think, this year. If he can stay healthy for every game, they have certainly an opportunity.
So they go to Northwestern this year. They play at the lacrosse field. And then the week after that,
Matt will not be going to that.
No, he will go. But I think they open it up the week after that or something like that. And then the very next week they play New Haven, which is
there we go.
Honestly hilarious that happened today. I was going to ask him as well, but we lost cell phone reception. North Dakota State.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to get that in there too.
It's not.
We'll get Dan back on for sure.
Yeah, we honestly, I'm sure he'll be down in the area recruiting at some point. So.
Well, he might be down for the CWS. So I was going to see if he wanted to stop by the Omaha Baseball Village and kick it with Matt and I,
or a co-host.
That could be fun.
He would love that. I think
Dan would love that.
I think he would really like that.
He would love that.
Yeah, but as you know, when you're on air for 4 hours, you could get exposed. You could say some things that maybe you don't want to say.
Yeah, that happens.
Something like that. But no, he's absolutely fantastic. He's been great to us in the past, and we will chat with him.
The third different show we've had Dan Jackson on.
I think so. I think that's right. So we will catch up with him very, very soon. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be back with the headlines right after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, let's hit the headlines, Joey. What are we cooking today?
Okay, empty Waymos invade Atlanta neighborhood. I'm sure I pronounced that
Okay,
right.
so Waymos, those
Waymos.
are the self-driving cars,
Okay,
right?
yeah, empty
Okay.
Waymos invade Atlanta neighborhood, circle cul-de-sac for hours with no passengers.
Fascinating. I'm interested.
Yeah, those are the ones that I saw a lot of in Vegas.
Those are the Zooks.
Okay, so then
Those are
Waymos I saw in Phoenix.
Okay. I've heard about the Waymos in Phoenix. Yeah. Okay. What's the second one?
Second one is museums. Knight Rider replica car got a speeding ticket. It hasn't gone anywhere in years.
I like the emphasis on that. You're trying to sell us on that one, Joey. Let's go to the empty cars, right?
Yeah, both of these seem pretty good on an average day, but
I agree.
I want to know more about the Waymos.
Waymos, self-driving cars can be seen all over Atlanta streets, giving rideshare trips through Uber. But what happens when they're empty? In one Northwest Atlanta neighborhood, the residents say dozens of Waymo cars ended up circling their cul-de-sac. So Channel 2's Steve Gelbach went to one street where neighbors say that they want the Waymos to stop. Quote, "It's almost every little cul-de-sac in our area, so I think it's a problem. On a dead-end street, Waymo after Waymo after Waymo drive on, usually early in the morning. I think yesterday morning, quote, we had 50 cars that came through the neighborhood between 6 and 7. Nice. A neighbor told Channel 2 Action News. Residents on Battleview Drive said they started seeing the autonomous driverless cars about 2 months ago, but the groups in large numbers of Waymos just circling in and out only started in the last couple of weeks. The neighbors shared videos of the cars with Channel 2 News. When one resident put a step 2 kid sign up in the street, it blocked all the Waymos from entering the cul-de-sac. But how that played out was a surprise for those living here. We at one point had 8 Waymos that were stuck trying to figure out how to turn around, the neighbors said. The Waymos are empty and are not picking up anyone. And parents are worried, saying it's not just excessive, but dangerous. We have families, small pets and kids and things of that nature. The resident said that they had reached out to Waymo and haven't gotten a response. They also contacted a city council member, representatives, and the Georgia Department of Transportation. Nobody has really figured out what to do. The news truck that was there saw one Waymo circling around the area mid-morning and someone was in the driver's seat. Waymo responded with a comment saying, "At Waymo, we are committed to being good neighbors. We take community feedback seriously and have already addressed the routing behavior. With over 500,000 weekly trips across the country, our service has proven to significantly reduce traffic injuries and improve road safety. We value our relationship with Atlanta residents and remain focused on providing a seamless, respectful, and safe experience for all riders and residents alike." Well, it is definitely helping traffic, except for that little neighborhood.
It's
where
increased traffic significantly.
They are putting all of the cars in that neighborhood.
There's something like
they're not in use.
Darkly funny about it being Battleview.
For
some reason.
that's funny too. Yeah, seems awfully like robotic.
This is like a turf war that's now happening.
They explored a lot of this in Silicon Valley, which it feels like every day I'm reminded of a scene or a bit from Silicon Valley. I feel like I need to go back and watch that show.
The creator of Silicon Valley, Mike Judge,
Yeah.
has given us so many of these things in which he sort of just predicts the future by telling you how dumb everything is going to get.
He has been
Idiocracy.
He's been
whether it's Beavis
balls
and
on
Butthead or
accurate.
King of the Hill or Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Office Space.
Yes.
Beavis and Butthead, don't forget.
Oh man. Yeah, I mentioned him.
Balls on
I
accurate.
threw it in there with
Okay.
with King of the Hill
On a lot of these things. They really explored the automated, like the self-driving stuff in Silicon Valley. And
I used to love
Richard
that
Hendricks
show.
had problems with it the entire time.
What didn't Richard Hendricks have problems?
He always had problems with everything.
And Jared.
Well, Jared, that was the best one with Jared. He got stuck in the self-driving
Right.
car and it put him on a shipping container and it shipped him across the ocean.
His face just pressed up. Something about that actor, and then like whenever he's like in between a window and the world,
Yeah.
like the scene, he's
The
just,
guy who played Gabe on The Office.
he's just looking out the window waving.
Yeah.
Oh, so great.
He gets out of the car or whatever, and all the people who are standing there on the shipping on the cargo boat are like, oh, disgusting. Gross. I just am worried. I'm worried about these self-driving cars. Now, as far as the actual use of them, they seem to have gone relatively well. But then there is the
Other than
question
people
of
that died.
yes, relatively well.
It happens.
But there's a question as to what do they do when they're sort of unoccupied,
Right.
and do we park them somewhere? Do we put them somewhere? Apparently, we send them all to a Atlanta neighborhood.
Just send them
and
over to
just
the cul-de-sac.
You're
drive
just
around in
cruising
circles.
Battleview, which again is darkly funny.
Yeah, it's really, really weird.
Pretty much soon we'll see them drag racing with self-driving cars.
They might be. Who knows? All right. Those are the headlines for today. Watch out. The Waymos could be coming to a neighborhood near you. We will come back 8:00 hour. Take a look ahead at the weekend. Don't forget to get in your Friday shout outs at Happen Shave on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed. Hit us up there. Plenty to come on Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone.
Hey everybody, it's Jimmy Allen.
And I'm Dan Campanen, your unofficial co-host.
6 to 8 p.m. may look a little bit different these days, but it's still the same vibe. Open bars on Monday, what's happening on social media, and the takes you didn't ask for, but we're going to give to you anyway.
Yeah, except now I've got to do more and try to keep Jimmy on the rails.
Good luck with that, Dan. Stop by the After Hours Lounge from 6 to 8 p.m.
As the sports schedule allows.
Brought to you by Bellevue University
On 1620 The Zone.
All right, Omaha celebrating 106 years of the Cinco de Mayo Festival today through the weekend on historic South 24th Street between L and O. Join us in honoring vibrant Mexican culture that shapes Omaha for over a century. History, music, food, and art, all and live music and entertainment, by the way, as well, at Heartland of America Park at the Riverfront. Mexican and Latin food and exhibitors. Join us at the Cinco de Mayo Parade tomorrow at 9:30 as we march in the parade with our sister station and sponsor the parade, Suite 98.5. There's a new location. They're not our neighbors anymore. Things are moving around here. I mean, they're still in the building. They're just like 10 extra feet away from us now. Got a text last night
their distance
from our dear friend Lanny Holstein, who sent us a picture of a stat column from a baseball player who played for Creighton from 2007 to 2010 and said, identify this player. And I correctly identified that it was Robbie Knight, only based off of the fact that he was hit by 35 pitches in 2007.
I remember that name.
Robbie Knight, Miller North Mustang.
Yeah.
And a Creighton Blue Jay. So he was hit by 35 pitches, which will never be touched. He nearly broke the career. John and I were just looking at it over the weekend. I mean, he's got the career record for hit by pitches by a million. He almost has it like with the 1 year. Like he only needs like 5 extra to have it total in school history. But then he was hit by 24 pitches additionally in 2008 as well. So there you go. And then he's told us, this is why I'm getting to this, he was going to keep us updated on the Oregon USC game.
I called him a liar.
Which he didn't. Yeah, he never told us about the Oregon USC game.
He told us to go to bed because he's texting us at 11 o'clock last night. And then tells us he's going to keep us updated on this game. And there was no update when I woke up.
And here it is. USC got their win against their first quad 1 win of the year.
Whoa.
I believe.
Which
is kind of nuts for a team that we're talking about with hosting potential here.
Right.
And USC, they went on the road and won in 11 innings at Oregon last night.
Mike Farron cast some real doubt on USC hosting when he was talking with Josh and John earlier.
I think that's fair.
Because basically, like, the committee's going to look at this and they're just not going to look like any of the other teams that are hosting from a resume.
They're 1-8 now in quad 1.
That is so remarkable.
Now, they were swept by UCLA, which everyone gets swept by UCLA. They were swept by
Washington.
They were swept by Nebraska. No, UCLA lost to Oregon once.
Well, Washington run ruled UCLA last night.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
had
even
a
see
fever
that.
dream, and let me confirm this.
Well, I was going to look. This is ultimately going to be a transition into the Big Ten standings. But yeah, I think you're right. They're 26-2 in the league right now. They lost to Washington 8-0 last night.
Yeah, it's not a run rule.
Wow. That's crazy. Anyway, yeah, USC not like a ton of opportunities to get some of these wins this year. Maybe not as many as you would think for a team who's 42-12 and plays in all of a sudden pretty decent baseball conference because of the 4 teams that are at the top of the league right now, all being potential, host type of teams. But they got their first win last night against a quad 1 team, which is a big deal for them. So you add that along to Nebraska's comeback against Minnesota yesterday. And here's how it looks in the Big Ten Conference going into the final 2 games of the regular season. UCLA, 26-2. They clinched 2 weeks ago. Nebraska, 21-7 is second right now.
They've clinched a top 4 seed.
A top 4 seed, correct. USC, 20-8. Oregon 18-10, Purdue 18-10, Michigan 17-11, Ohio State still technically alive for a 4 spot. Actually maybe not because I don't know about the tiebreakers.
Right.
But they're 16-12. So let's cut it off at 6 with Michigan. Michigan, who is in the conversation for just an at-large bid, an NCAA tournament spot at 32-20. right now. They got blasted by Ohio State yesterday. Ohio State all of a sudden is playing like some of the best baseball in the conference. So like we had the conversation of Creighton like breaking Kansas a couple of weeks ago. I think Nebraska may have fixed Ohio State. Ohio State is fixed. Ohio State is one of those dangerous teams to sort of watch out for right now that could make a run in Omaha at the Big Ten baseball tournament. They're 16-12 in the league right now. They've been killing everyone over the last couple of weeks. Michigan is trying to hang on to an at-large spot. Purdue is trying to hang on to an at-large spot. And the rest of the four at the top are very safe. Nebraska looks like they are in very good position to grab the 2 seed in the league after their win yesterday. So that is where it sets up for the final weekend of Big Ten baseball, which all of a sudden, I mean, this is a good time to talk about this. Like I said, those top 4 teams are really competitive. Michigan is trying. Ohio State is trying. And Purdue is occasionally trying, I think. Like,
oh, you mean in general?
I just mean in general.
Yeah, they're kind of like the cyclical, like every 4 years they kind of have a team that's worth noting, but then there
is some history there. Yeah.
When they're not doing that, they're most notable for just being involved in random rain delays that make Nebraska fans mad.
Facts.
Like that's sort of what they're running.
So I don't know. Like, we'll see what the tournament holds next week. This whole West Coast edition thing, as much as it doesn't feel like Big Ten baseball, it is Big Ten baseball. There's a little bit of juice here, and also it coincides with Nebraska having a really terrific year, their best year in a long time in the regular season. So I don't know. There's if we're talking about at the very, very least one, probably as many as 3 hosts that are going to be in for the Big Ten Conference. That's a huge win for the league.
I feel like Oregon has maybe played their way out of being a host here recently.
Yeah, well, I think the common perception is that it's going to be one of USC or Nebraska, I guess, potentially both, and then Oregon would be the 4th.
Right. And with the loss, yesterday, they would probably have to win the Big Ten at that point. I just going off of the pair rating, which is probably not the way to do it. I feel like they haven't hosted or been a host on projected or on current in weeks.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the most updated brackets, partly because my internet is incredibly slow right now. I'm sure that you guys could tell that on the old stream. But yeah, I mean, this, every time I say this, kick myself because it never ends up being true. But hey, maybe this is the year where the Big Ten sees this and they're like, hey, this is kind of fun. And they put some more resources or something like that.
Televise their product more.
Just
promote it.
Really, literally anything.
Existence.
Literally anything. Yeah. It's a good baseball conference all of a sudden.
Yeah, no.
It's certainly not the conference that Nebraska joined 15 years ago.
I think that's like the most notable thing. And there's been some ebb and flow in there where Illinois has had some time where they've been solid.
Yes.
And then Indiana, certainly. I mean, everyone knows that. And
it's surprising to me that they're not more consistently good.
Indiana?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's shocking to me, actually. They're 8-20 in the league right now.
Right. Well, and who is their coach?
Tracy.
It's like Smith, I almost wonder, with college baseball, if you can't replace that coach, it sort of matters a lot with college baseball. It feels like if you're not a program that's going to be consistently good anyway.
Yeah.
It
does.
The coach certainly can have a big effect on that.
So Maryland has been good before. They're
kind of weirdly down, and they've been down for a couple years now.
I expected when they joined the league, I was like, oh, well, okay, you're not going to get anything out of football, but their basketball team's okay. And gosh, I'm really excited about their baseball. I mean, they were kind of supposed to be the bell cow of the league when they joined it. And this is, of course, before USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington joined, which has changed the face of it entirely. But I thought they were just going to be at the top, and they haven't been. They're in dead last right now.
Yeah, the last time that they were Big Ten tournament champions in 2023 is the last time they had a winning record in conference.
They still had what's his name,
and they were running. I mean, they were a regional team 3 years in a row at that point.
They had Shaw, with the Cubs guy.
Matt Shaw.
Matt Shaw.
Yeah. So, but then, since then, 34-22, not bad. 2024, but 10-14 in Big Ten play. And then a dismal the last 2 years, 20-36 last year, 25-28, and 7-21 in conference.
So shocking to me. But there's a good handful or more of programs in there where you're like, yeah, that should be enough to be a competitive baseball league. Now you're still restricted by what you're restricted by, which is the weather and all those other things that just aren't going to change.
Right.
But you can change the perception of the league dramatically by, having successful teams and then putting some resources into it and having more teams who are trying to get more and more competitive on a year by year basis. And I hope, I hope that there's some teams who look around and say, yeah, we have an opportunity to get good at this. So let's get good at it. I also think there's this, and we just talked about Maryland for a little bit. There was a real time, where I think Nebraska, on top of trying to find their way as far as an identity in the post, the post Van Horn, Anderson, you're trying to be good in general. You're also trying to figure out how to win games in the league that you're in. And as bad as it is, as bad as it was, there's still an identity about it, right? Yeah. And you still have to figure out what wins in the league that you play in. And I think Maryland's probably having a little bit of that right now. And I do think Nebraska's come out on the other side. They have figured out how to be a Big Ten baseball team that wins games. And so we talked a lot about continuity with Fred and, how it took him a long time to figure it out. You could make the same case for Will Bolt. You really can. And not that they were bad ever. They weren't terrible, ever. But last year,
they're terrible.
Thank you. They were never that. But I think they've kind of cracked
one
the
year
code
they were
here.
going to be really bad. It was the year the season got canceled. Like 2020, wasn't that going to be really ugly?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I think was setting up to be that potentially. But then obviously 2021,
and that was his first year. Yeah.
Yep. So it's interesting because people aren't going to love this, but I think if you're using a Hoiberg-Bolt comparison for both of those guys, it's really come down to owning their clubhouse or their locker room and weeding out what they don't want.
100%.
I mean,
it's absolutely about that.
Ben McLaughlin was telling me earlier this week that a big chunk of the success that Nebraska has this year is that they cleaned house in-house in the portal last year. There was guys that left where it's like, oh, that guy is a really good player. He's only a freshman. Why did he leave? And it's like, well, he wasn't invited to come back. They didn't want him.
No, one of their guys who was on the team is now the ace at Kentucky.
Yeah.
And he's one of the guys who's not here for a reason anymore.
Right. And so it's they felt like they had to remove that element, similar to what it was with Hoiberg, where he had to figure out the culture that he needed
100%
in order to play in the conference. And
we identified this early. We identified this in February. Like if they have the right mix of personalities in there, especially with this sport, it can really take off. And that's with knowing how not right it was last year.
Right.
Even though they did find a way to get to the NCAA tournament.
A big portion of that is, and we've talked about it in February, we will talk about it all the way through whenever they're done. I mean, you take on the good teams take on the personality of their coach, and Will Bolt is a grinder. He's a guy that's gonna, he's a red ass baseball boy. Like he's just, everything is a fight, and this team fights all the time. I mean, this sounds insane. Anecdotally, this team seems to have the most 7-run innings of any team I've ever seen. And then it seems to show up whenever it's like, hey, we're trailing in the game. We're just going to have to bat around again to get back into this.
They just keep so much pressure down on you all the time.
They never let anyone off
for anything.
Right.
And like, so, go back to Tuesday night against Creighton. I can't remember what it was. But they're up 8-0. Like it's a 6. Everyone's like, let's go home. Like we got games on Thursday, and there was like Will came out of the dugout and he was arguing about something. And I'm like, what could possibly be going? This
wasn't the Teddy Dieters hit by pitch, was it? That was earlier in the game.
That one was obvious. There was something where I couldn't figure out what he was arguing or what he was, complaining about or bringing to the attention of the umpire. What I still don't know what it was, but that's that in an 8-0 game on a pointless Tuesday midweek before you go into the most important series of the year, before it's playoff time. And it's like, no, I'm not letting anybody off the hook for nothing. Like we are keeping the pressure. We are keeping the foot down on you at all times. And that's
Nuts
just who we are.
Baseball.
That's who we are. And so that plays, man. You don't have to be the most talented team in the world. Not that they don't have talent. They absolutely do. Like Kerry's a stud, but you know, you don't have to have all the talent
of future Major League Baseball players.
Yeah, we were talking about that off air one day. Like, I don't know if there is a major leaguer here. But
certainly not.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, I think like Dylan Carey could have a nice career as a minor league player. I just don't see him, you know, like there's not a Bryce Matthews or a Max Anderson or just an obvious, like, that guy's just going to hit.
Yeah.
Like, those guys are going to be MLB regulars. Like, are they going to be stars? Probably not. But you could tell they're going to be MLB regulars. These guys are hitting, but it's like, I don't know that Mac Moyer is going to have a Major League Baseball career, even with a dad who was in the majors. I mean, entirely different position.
Did a different thing, yeah.
But
I've been seeing Jamie's TikToks lately, by the way. He's like teaching people how to
video guy?
He's like teaching people how to pitch on TikTok.
That sounds awesome.
It's great.
He's showing people grips and everything.
No, it's like you have to see it. I'll pull one up during the break. It's not like grips or anything like that.
Have you gotten lost in those accounts that, like, what they do? It's kind of like Driveline, but it's more with the pitching side of it. And they show, like, they put the pins in the literal baseball to show where the fingers need to be.
Yeah.
In order to increase spin and everything.
Yeah.
Like a young dorky Mike Schaefer would have been very into this.
I know.
If this existed in 2005.
I always think about how much information I didn't have when
I knew what I did well.
Yeah.
I knew what I did poorly, and I utilized that as well.
Just
as
think
I
if
could.
you were able to emphasize the things that you did well.
Just think if I had considered this whole weight room thing and utilized the size that I was blessed with.
Text from the 402. Connor, are you making a case for not firing coaches right away? I am. And not that Bolt was under any sort of firing pressure ever.
There was people that were really unhappy with him.
Yeah, those people are idiots.
Last year and even the year
You're
before.
an idiot.
And a lot of it just comes back to, you know, whatever your expectation is for Nebraska baseball. Mine generally is I just want to see them in competition to be in regionals, and eventually they're going to come through out of one of those.
Yeah.
Like that's where I'm at with
100%.
I've often been accused of having relatively low expectations for Nebraska teams.
I think that's where Fred's got basketball. Like, they're just going to probably be a borderline NCAA tournament team, you know, with the standard deviation of being like, oh, we could be a Sweet 16 if it breaks
with
right.
the extra teams now, it's like, you know, even if you're a bubble team, a previous bubble team, you're likely to potentially be in.
Yeah, honestly, they should probably be there every year now. That's a different
Feels more
conversation.
4 out of 5 than, you know,
than 3 out of 5.
Which is where I'd kind of always been. And the 3 was like just be in contention to be in the NCAA tournament.
And so with this and the way that they've set up for baseball, I mean, they're allowed to miss the NCAA tournament, but as long as it's not happening regularly, and it's very clear of like, oh, this is what went wrong, and here's the adjustment based off that. That was what it was last year. I mean, that team was not supposed to make the NCAA tournament last year. They very clearly pivoted and adjusted in the offseason, and now they have a great team.
Yeah, this is probably not the right topic to introduce at 8:18. As
Topic
we're
alert.
probably looking to go to a break.
Well, we could take a break, and if you think it's going to be like a 10-minute topic.
Well, let me just tell you what it is, and you can determine whether it's worth having that conversation.
Great.
What, like, without knowing how the rest of the season is going to unfold, how does Nebraska build off of a year like this in baseball? Like, what? So I think baseball is one of those harder sports to sort of determine, like, how you build this going forward, because you can have a similar team the next year and it's just, you know, things just don't work the same way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the guys who are getting outs out of your bullpen aren't as good, or your starting pitching gets injured early in the year and you just have to rely on young guys who don't have it until later in the year.
I think you look at
baseball sustainability seems hard to me.
I think you look at which kind of like the origin points of the players that you got on your roster, where they came from.
Right.
And not that everybody is going to be the same as far as that, you know, like, okay, you got a guy from the transfer portal this year who was going to be a steady weekend rotation guy, and it hasn't necessarily, like, he's been fine.
Mm-hmm.
Right. He'll probably be Katsky. He'll be a big part of what they do in the postseason, but he's not like the front line.
Yeah, it
ace.
didn't quite go how you want.
Right, but he's a guy that's in there. Okay. So as long as we're not leaning on that type of person to be our Friday night frontline guy, then great. Junior colleges are absolutely roaring.
I mean, that's Will Bolt's always going to be.
They're playing some, and so that one's always tricky because there's a variance there in terms of what you could potentially get. But I think you start there. You look at the origin points of those guys.
I wonder if there's something with like the Jet Buck where you find like a guy who seems really good for the level that he's at, and you take the chance on that. Because he's not the star of the team by any means, but he helps lengthen your lineup.
There is no formula. I mean,
well, yeah.
Look at
baseball seems harder to me than anything else.
There's UConn, for example. Great. I mean, that's a good program. They've been steady and solid for a long time now. And they basically just like take a bunch of D3 guys and they're good. They're really good, so it's possible to kind of get dudes from everywhere.
Yeah. Well, I think it's more than any other sport. You have to have a willingness to go into any bucket, JUCO, high school, and then the lower ranks of college. Like, I don't think Nebraska is going to be a national powerhouse in the transfer portal, but can they get the good players from the MAC or the Summit or whatever? And you churn and burn and you see if it works for you.
I do wonder, if you want it to be a destination, or you could really play both cards. You could say, hey, look, all right, SEC dropout, basically. Was probably going to be their sixth guy in a rotation or something like that.
See, I just think that's such an incestuous league that they just go to a different SEC team.
Yeah, it's worked out that way before. But like, if you're Nebraska, you could play both cards and say SEC dropout, you can land here, or MAC player of the year, you could end up here as well. Right. And who knows which one is going to be better, but we'll have both of you.
Yeah,
and we'll find out.
No, that makes sense.
So yeah, but I do think they got it kind of figured out there. Not that it can't go wrong in any individual year, but they definitely cracked the code on the chemistry part of it this year. In the Big East, by the way, like I mentioned before, the Super Mega Big East baseball tie is still on the table.
Fatal four-way.
Although it is unlikely. Creighton won yesterday at Great American Ballpark over Xavier. So one more win over Xavier would give them the series and then kind of put them out of the four-way tie potential. UConn currently in the driver's seat, as somehow St. John's lost to Butler. Not somehow. St. John's lost to Butler yesterday. Butler's been playing a little bit better as of late, and their Friday guys their Friday, Saturday guys are pretty good. So who knows what happens, but Big East baseball fever is coming to a city near you, especially if that city is Cincinnati, Ohio.
It seems like it's more specifically tailored to the good people of Ohio.
That's pretty much it.
Bill Snavely, baseball's coming to you from the Big East.
That is true. Maybe I could get in contact with Mr. Snavely.
Oh, that'd be great.
How far away?
It's not that far. He was. You were talking about this before.
I would say about
Mason, Ohio to Oxford, Ohio.
Probably about 50 minutes.
The opposite. I'd love to.
40 to 46 minutes, 30 miles.
I'm gonna ask him to come up. We could.
I'll give you the email or the phone number.
You could do the broadcast with me.
Yeah, that'd be great.
For your city councilman of Oxford, Ohio, Bill William Snavely. What are you doing here?
It'd be amazing. He's like, I don't even like baseball.
But he probably likes free stuff, just like everybody else. So here's how it looks to Big East: 14-5 UConn, 13-6, 13-6, 13-6 Creighton, St. John's, Xavier. All four will be in the Big East baseball tournament at the tremendous and beautiful Prasco Park next week. I will be there, and broadcast times are TBA because we don't know when the games are, but they do start Wednesday. So that's where I will be. I will be doing the show from a hotel room in Ohio on Wednesday morning.
It'll be great.
Baseball. All right. We'll be back after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, Friday morning, 8:30 here in Happer and Schaefer, 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. Once again, join on Sports Black Contact today at Twin Peaks, 2 to 6, 179th and Dodge. The Peak Playoffs giveaway going on at 1620thezone.com right now. You have a chance to win a $250 Twin Peaks gift card. Also, the Green for the Green 5K sweepstakes still rocking and rolling. Benjamin Franklin Plumbing is bringing that your way. You can do whatever you'd like with that 5K. The 5K sweepstakes contest runs through Monday. So get in your submission right now. Pedro writes in on the text line. Hi, guys. Connor, are you and Mike finally going to do the Caitlin Clark story? The WNBA is starting back up. I have been waiting to hear the story for over a year. So there was a fake Caitlin Clark engagement yesterday. Did you see the other Caitlin Clark adjacent story?
No.
No, I haven't seen that.
Thank you, Dana. Wow, what a tremendous drop. We're working on getting some more drops into the system, which is good.
It has been used in a while.
No, I haven't seen that. Nope, not at all. That was, of course, Dana talking about how he's never seen Anthony Calandria turn the ball over ever, which I definitely believe him on.
Joey was on that.
That was really, really good.
Good luck with that, Dan.
Go.
It's good. Give me the Dana one more time, actually.
No, I haven't seen that.
No,
Nah, haven't seen that.
no, not at all. No, it's Caitlin Clark adjacent because it involves Fran McCaffrey.
Oh, yeah, like her son is
Fran's son is Caitlin Clark's boyfriend.
sure.
Connor McCaffrey. You didn't see the story involving Fran yesterday?
No.
So
No, I haven't seen that.
Thank you, Dana.
keep doing exactly what you're doing. This is just tremendous stuff. So like there was the Doctorman and Chad Lysico, they do like a podcast together, and they were talking about how Fran McCaffrey's like wife would go to these banquets and yell at one particular media member who was the host of the banquet. I believe it was Keith Murphy, and all this is like just being it has some like Scott Frost kind of vibes to it of like, wait a minute, this stuff was happening the entire time, and now we're just finding out about this.
I have heard some stories that she was less than pleasant.
Yep. Okay.
Trying to figure out how to phrase this.
That's kind of interesting.
What, Greg Marshall? Like she's more on the scale over there than what maybe is discussed.
That feels right.
So
that feels right. That was the story involving.
I did not hear this, but it does track with things that I have heard previous.
Iowa for one day got distracted and wasn't actually thinking about Nebraska football. They were thinking about Iowa for one day, and they weren't happy with it.
They don't want to think about Iowa any more than anybody else does.
I know, which is why they spend all their time thinking about Nebraska.
Wow.
It's amazing how familiar I've become with the Iowa like podcasts.
So
and
I know
media.
Doctorman. I didn't know the other name that you said.
Chad Lystico. He does the.
Is Mark Morehouse still a thing?
No, he's not. And I loved Mark Morehouse.
So that was the other Iowa. Like I mean, I know Sean Bach and David Eichel.
Yes,
the guys that are in the like recruiting.
Name an Iowa media member segment.
What a game!
This is really good. Yeah. So the guy Keith Murphy, and then the other guy, the guy who works for ESPN, the Chris Hassel guy. Or he was CBS Sports? I think he's CBS Sports, maybe. Okay. He did a video the other day about how Nebraska is embarrassing itself by Calandria saying he wants to win a national championship.
Valuable stuff.
Yeah, which I thought was just really tremendous content all the way around. Anyway, that was the not Caitlin Clark story. Thank you for the text, Pedro. We appreciate it. I wanted to get to this. I've had this on the rundown for a couple of days. The USC Notre Dame rivalry is apparently back, folks.
What?
It's surprising. It's surprising. I know. So remember this whole big deal during the fall about how the two sides couldn't come to an agreement, and the game was going to go away. It's one of the best games, one of the biggest rivalries in college football. The two, given the future scheduling agreements between the two sides right now, it is possible that the two won't meet again on the football field until the 2030 season. But from the LA Times, at least they're back at the bargaining table, and a person familiar with the discussions told the Times that they were optimistic that a deal could be reached. The shift in tone comes after a year of both schools playing chicken, with each side refusing to blink during negotiations over the future of the series. USC wanted to move the matchup to the start of the season, in line with the rest of its non-con slate, while Notre Dame wanted a long-term agreement to keep the game during the same late season slot in which the series has always been played. The dispute played out in a series of public relations missives starting last May, when Notre Dame athletic director Pete Bavacqua suggested to Sports Illustrated that the rivalry was in jeopardy because USC didn't want to continue it. And then they basically just went back and forth for
Media sniping
for quite some time. So what happens now? Well, I saw a tweet from our dear friend Scott Wolf, who is the USC insider who hates USC. Well, actually, he loves USC, but hates Lincoln Riley, which we have on the show a couple times a year, and it's always a lot of fun. He said this: since the announcement that USC and Notre Dame would no longer play each other, USC donors and luxury suite holders have let the athletic department know that they are disgusted with the decision and the AD, and it played a role in talks resuming. So my question is this: is this all it takes to get good non-con games back?
Disgusted donors?
Yes.
So this one feels
Can we
like,
get our donors to want to have disgust?
this one feels a little different because I feel like both sides really value this game in a way that probably maybe gets lost to some of the rest of us.
But as was mentioned, they have been playing chicken.
Yeah, well, I also think you
and nobody wants to lose a game of chicken.
You go to a 24-team playoff, it's easier to play this game. Like there's, as we've said, there's less stakes in a loss with it. It is kind of remarkable. You look at Notre Dame's schedule, and
it's kind of poopy,
not very good.
Yeah, not great.
They're relying on that kind of ACC setup they have, where you have a couple of those teams in there.
They're terrible.
They get Miami and they get SMU, and if SMU sort of has the season they had a couple years ago, that could be a good game at the end of it. They miss USC probably more than USC misses Notre Dame
as far as their strength of schedule.
Pretty much.
Obviously, USC has the Big Ten behind it.
Pretty much with Stanford not being as good as what they were in the past, too.
But remember, Notre Dame has their deal, their handshake agreement with the NCAA or with the playoff to say we get in no matter what.
Basically,
if we're qualified, which nice. Congratulations to Notre Dame on that one. But I am glad.
How did they screw up the playoffs so bad?
That's a great question.
It's so obvious that Notre Dame should have been one of the teams. And I think they had to kowtow to the SEC, and that's the whole reason this happened. And the amazing thing is Notre Dame, if they would have been over the Miami team that made it to the championship game.
Right. Which is another reason why we should not at all comment on how deep teams go into the tournament as an example of how much they should have been in the tournament.
Right.
But anyway, I just hope that we could get these games back. If that's what it takes.
Angry boosters?
It's still not worth it, by the way.
Good luck with that, Dan.
Yeah, it's still not worth it to go through this giant playoff and have the regular season games not matter much. But I do love the idea that Notre Dame and USC could potentially drop their differences and get back together, when actually it turns out their differences weren't that large. It's just that one of them wanted to play it in September and the other one said, I don't want to play it in September.
Which weirdly just feels like, Notre Dame sets its schedule however the hell it wants. Play the game in September. Like, why do they care if it's in October?
Great question. I do not know.
That's weird to me.
John writes in, USC versus Notre Dame is back. Which new Pac-12 school is that coward Lincoln Riley going to run to now? Great question.
Yeah, Lincoln Riley is kind of they need to probably have a big year.
They do need to have a big year.
They seem positioned to be good, but whether they follow up on that remains to be seen.
I love when the athletic directors yell at each other in thinly veiled comments. The USC athletic director said this: the fact is very, very clear, and this can all be settled very quickly. Had Notre Dame lived up to their word and played us anytime, anywhere, we would be playing them the next 2 years and looking ahead after that and hopefully continuing the series. USC coach Lincoln Riley said in December after that was Lincoln Riley. They did not follow through on it. Thus, we are not playing them the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lincoln Riley.
It would have been a better, stronger quote if they followed up on the anytime, anywhere, with anytime being September, anywhere being one of our 2 stadiums.
Do you think Nebraska will get big non-con games back?
I think they will eventually. I don't think the Arizona games are going to get canceled.
That doesn't
that's
really
your
count.
next. Yeah, I mean, that's your next one. Like, by big, I still think Nebraska's kind of in this spot where they neither want to schedule like pseudo power, and I don't know that pseudo powers look at Nebraska and think that they need to schedule them either. And if you're Nebraska and you don't want to do the neutral site game, you have some teams that don't want to give up, or they only want to play neutral site games.
Yeah.
So that it puts you
I don't
in
want a
tough
neutral
spot.
site game.
No, I want home and homes.
I want home and homes.
They're fun.
But I don't think they're coming back. I don't think, like, to your point, Schaefer, I don't think we're getting them back. I
think what you're going
if we're
to get
getting
is a middle tier conference home and home.
that sucks.
Like, I think,
Arizona.
you might get like a Virginia Tech, which maybe if James Franklin builds it
They
up,
do
that's a
have
potential college football playoff.
That'd be fun. We could just go back to
They do have
Matt
Oklahoma.
I would
O'Hanlon.
love to go back to Wayne Stadium.
Go
That
back
place
to-
is awesome.
talk about Matt O'Hanlon and things of that nature.
Poor Matt O'Hanlon. He's never going to enjoy this show.
Oklahoma is on the schedule for 29 and 30.
But then a lot of people say it's not Matt O'Hanlon's
It's
fault.
not Giancarlo's fault.
I know. And I say, I don't care.
I think it was a cover 3.
Bring
And
it
the
back.
third guy didn't get back.
I want like they already burned the bridge with Tennessee pretty clearly. So that I don't think Tennessee's coming
Yeah, that
back.
one's done.
Yeah, they moved it from the mid 2010s.
I
to
don't want
that.
Oklahoma. Can they trade Oklahoma?
Yeah.
For
Can we get
something
like
else?
Florida or something?
Yeah, I would trade Oklahoma for Texas. Oh my God, I would love it.
Yes.
Home and home with Texas.
Do we want to bring in a Missouri series potentially?
I would take that. There's very few series where you're like, Mike, this is I would take it.
Missouri doesn't get me going as much.
Oh man, the end of Nebraska, Missouri, like
I remember.
2009, 2010.
That was fantastic.
For Nebraska fans, that series couldn't have ended in a better way.
That was very
You
fun.
get the 2009 comeback and then Roy Halou running all over that team
that
in
was a fun
2010.
game.
I remember.
Yeah. So I would take that. I would take Kansas, even though Kansas football maybe. I don't know what's going to happen with Leipold and all of that.
Feels like he
They
needs
missed
a
their,
big
did
year
they
too.
miss their moment?
I want a big power.
Oklahoma State will be.
You want the powers.
I want a big power.
Who's
Well,
the big? So give me like what big power?
I said Florida. I think
Florida.
Florida is a good one. How about like Florida State?
Florida State. I would definitely take that.
Let's
Like,
get Florida State
those are
going.
interesting to me. Florida State probably more than Florida. I would do Miami, like have that come back again, if only because of how great that 2014
LSU.
experience was. That's I think the dream scenario.
Call 'em up.
I feel like there was talk of Nebraska, LSU, and Bo nixed it. Maybe
Bo Nix.
Bo
Bo nixed it. Gotcha.
did not think about that as I wondered. Would you take Auburn?
Yeah, I'd take Auburn.
You'd
I'd
take
like
Auburn.
some Auburn.
Trying to think of.
We can go to
other
the Buckies
teams
in
to-
Auburn.
Trying to think of other teams to offer you.
South
in this
Carolina?
scenario. What about like? Would you do BYU again with a home and home?
It's been too recent.
Texas Tech.
Yeah, that'd be
What
that'd be okay.
What
Yeah.
about Texas A&M?
Texas A&M? Absolutely, yes.
I don't know why that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. Seriously, actually, it probably should.
We'll have Oklahoma State in 2034 and 2035 at least for the
That's not bad.
moment.
That's not bad. All right, we'll take a break. We got the Friday shout outs. Get your Friday shout outs in at Happen Schaefer on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed right now. We're back after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, time for Friday shout-outs here on Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com, the Zone Radio Network. Let's get to what you guys are shouting out this week. It's a busy time in our lives.
It is.
Graduations and things like that, the end of seasons. So we'll see what we have in store here. Let's go to Mark, who says, hashtag Friday shout-outs. I would like to shout out my Zenith TV alarm clock. RIP. After 25 plus years of loyal service, you are in a better place. I will cherish the time we had together and appreciated you. Never once complained about me constantly hitting the snooze button. Wow. Mark might be the last guy I know who had an alarm clock.
Yeah, I had one for a while, and then I misplaced it in a move or something, and it was like so loud, which I need for a variety of reasons. It's like a foghorn.
Yeah.
I prefer that over any other alarm clock I've ever had. And now I use the Apple Watch to wake up.
Yeah.
Like
I just use my
alarm
phone
clock.
like most people probably,
Yeah.
but you don't have
It
that
doesn't
option.
quite work that way.
Doesn't work for you. And I used to have the alarm clock. I used to love the alarm clock with the buzz in, set it. It's easy. You could just set it all the time. But I don't have a problem with the phone. It works.
The phone works.
The only issue
Unless you Matt McMaster it and it's not charged, which is never an issue for you ever.
Not an issue for me. No, not even a little bit. Norbit, Blue Jay Norbit fan writes in, shout out to Big Macs. Superior to Whoppers in every way. Is this true?
Whoa, is there a rivalry going on here?
Well, I mean, there's kind of always been Big Macs versus
No,
Whoppers.
I meant Whopper. And this guy's kind of throwing Big Macs out there. Is there something here?
Yeah, I don't.
Is there a fight amongst Creighton Norbit fans?
It's interesting. I'm not sure. There is a Creighton Norbit community. That much is for sure.
That is among the things I've learned in this job that I still have no explanation.
I cannot comment on Big Macs versus Whoppers, but we have 1 point in the hole for Big Macs.
I'm a Big Macs guy.
I never had a Big Mac.
Oh, Joey, you gotta do it.
I'm a quarter pounder.
I like them both. I like them
Happer
both.
won't choose.
No, I won't. Carrie writes in, I want to give a shout out to my daughters, Emma and Anna, for graduating high school this weekend. Shout out to Emma and Anna and congratulations to them. Matt McMaster writes in,
oh boy,
I want to give my Friday shout out to the fine construction workers of Omaha who patched up the biggest pothole in America, which was located in the back alley of the Burger King on 30th and Dodge.
what is he doing at the back alley of a Burger King?
That is the next question. But
that man loves Whoppers, by the way.
Yeah, he does. I didn't know that. I was. Where's Dana? I didn't know. I never seen anything like that before. What? Where is it, Joey?
No, I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen anything like that. Nope. Oh, look, Whopper writes in, uninviting Norbit to my bachelor party right now. Shout out to him, no longer going to Memphis.
Wow.
There's quite the discussion.
Things are happening. We got a Michael Severe shout out.
Hello, Michael.
Includes the last line from the book, The Great Gatsby.
Oh.
Which I didn't expect to say today.
Old Spole.
Hey, Friday shout outs at Happen Shape. Let's all shout out Matt Rhule for being the hero we didn't know we needed. And here's the last line. So we beat on boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past.
Thank you, Coach Matt.
Some Great Gatsby Scott Fitzgerald. F. Scott Fitzgerald.
Bad Takes Doug. Shout out to all the high school soccer players that at state, especially those who do backflips after they score a goal.
Oh,
I imagine that.
You ever done a
yesterday.
backflip?
No.
I've never done a backflip. No.
I've never
No,
even.
no,
Good luck with that,
Never
dude.
do a backflip.
You better give your shout outs. You have like less than a minute.
Shout out to Angel Reese. This is a thing that came up at Golf League. I was requested to.
All right. Shout
to
out to
provide a
Angel
shout
Reese.
out.
Shout out to Aussie NFL and NFL Nerd for accurately getting the NFL schedule leaks out there before the schedule was released. Shout out to them.
Shout out to them. Free My
Shout
Fred is
out.
shouting out Matt for fixing in his own unique way the pothole behind the Burger King at 30th. 30th.
Good luck with that, Dan.
And Dodge. All right. Those are our Friday shout outs. You can continue to get those in because we love shouting things out.
We do.
We
really
love
do.
shouting things out here on this show. 9 o'clock hour is coming up next on 1620 The Zone. All right, 9 o'clock hour of Happer and Schaefer here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Mike Schaefer, Joey Culber with you. By the way, got a reminder from President C earlier on. State baseball kicking off at Werner Park this morning. We have Westside Millard South starting right about now. State baseball. Now, as is the tradition with state baseball, there is bound to be very questionable weather. Have we seen this? Have we heard about this?
What is the weather for the weekend?
We have
No, I haven't seen that.
Interesting. I'll tell you about it. We have a severe weather threat.
Oh no!
Yeah.
I
I saw a map with a lot of big orange blotches on it.
I don't like it. I'm already playing in an 8-some on Saturday, so it's going to take 15 hours anyways.
I don't know what it looks like, I guess, the rest of the weekend, but tonight I've been told that it's a little bit it's just a little bit
The weather during the day today looks amazing, which kind of actually what happens before a storm comes in.
It gets really
It's
hot,
still hot, and
muggy, and then absolute disaster.
everything's destroyed.
we hope everything doesn't.
Not rooting for the destruction. Just saying it tends to follow that pattern.
Should we play the game of how many baseball games does Creighton and Nebraska combine for in terms of wins
Yeah,
over
I
the
like
next
this
two
game.
games?
But there's only
four left.
games left. Yeah.
So 2 each between Nebraska and Creighton. Creighton on the road at Xavier. They're actually moving to they're moving to a fake ballpark now. They're moving to a much smaller ballpark in the Cincinnati area at Hayden Field. Very, very hitter friendly. And Nebraska will stay exactly where they are. So let's set the number at 2.5 additional wins.
All right, I would take the over on that. I think there'll be 3 wins. out of the
3
4 games.
additional
The
wins.
3.5 was the one that I don't think I could take. Again, I think the perfect number is 3.
I'm going to take.
We
4
want to have the
wins.
hook after we pushed last week.
You're taking 4, Joey?
I'm going to take 4 wins.
You think both teams are sweeping the weekend?
Wait, how many games for the
They
season?
played 2 yesterday
they've
already.
each already won 1.
So there's
Yes.
4 games left in total.
Yeah, so they're going to win 2 more. They'll win 2 more. I thought you meant like overall. So,
What do you
You think both Nebraska and Creighton are going to win each of their next 2 games?
I think they'll at least win one of their last 2. So they'll win their series.
Well, you said they win 4 because they only each have 2 left. Does this make sense?
I
feel like we got who's on
thought
first,
we
though.
were I thought we were including yesterday's
Oh, no,
results
no,
and then
that's
saying
already
how
locked
many.
in.
Okay,
That's already
yeah,
locked in.
okay. Then I say two.
Just
Who's
2.
going under?
Oh my gosh. He went from being very confident to very unconfident.
You didn't understand.
I misunderstood the question.
I'll go over on the 2.5.
Yeah, I think I will too. I think I like 3.
Kind of think Creighton's going to sweep.
Whoa. Creighton Honk Schaefer?
Yeah.
That is very
If you're telling me it's a small, like, there's
So
got
you
a
don't-
bunch of guys that hit home runs, and
So you
in
don't
the
think
tiny Big East
Nebraska is
park.
going to sweep?
I don't know. Nebraska feels like they're kind of in one of these series where the games are going to be 15-11, and they might lose one of those.
Yeah.
They-
People are getting very
if they win
stressed out.
again, if they win today and you get into like Sunday, I kind of don't think you're going to throw some of your better relievers to salvage Sunday's game if it gets out of hand.
Well, that is the factor that we need to talk about here. By the way, Hookie Skir writes in. He says
Or
Nebraska
Saturday is what I meant, not Sunday.
Nebraska will hold their end. Can't say the same for pigeon ball. Half a game is asking too much of them. You used the incorrect version of 2, by the way. But so there does need to be that part of it factored in the final weekend of the season. There is a world, yes, where like so let's just do the Creighton side. If Creighton wins today, they're 2-0 in the series. They're looking for the sweep tomorrow. But then if UConn wins, then they're not going to be able to win or
Right.
really even split. I suppose they could still split the Big East with a loss tomorrow by them and then a win by Creighton. But you're not getting the 1 seed no matter what. does it matter to get the 1 seed in the conference tournament, or does it matter to be able to say, hey, look, we split the Big East regular season, even though they technically didn't because they lost 2 out of 3 to UConn and they lost 2 out of 3 to St. John's. I don't know how they're going to handle that. They brought in their Saturday starter to pitch in relief yesterday. They brought in their would-be, he would have been the Friday starter. He would have been today's starter to pitch in relief yesterday. So I don't know what that means for today. I don't know what that means for tomorrow. Last weekend of the regular season tends to get a little freaky on both sides, is the point.
I just don't know that it behooves Nebraska or even Creighton for that matter, like to go all out to win one of these games like on Saturday. I just don't, I really don't think Nebraska's regional chances, the host of regional, hangs in the balance of whether they beat Minnesota on.
I don't think so either. And at the same time, they wouldn't play a game in the Big Ten tournament
until Friday. So it's like, okay, well, maybe you don't have to worry about it. The bigger thing is they just don't get starting pitching that goes deep enough into games.
No.
So you have to cover so many innings across these weekends.
People definitely don't want to be I mean, I in my opinion, this is just something that they're going to have to kind of live with. Like their pitching is just not what's going to not going to be the thing that carries them through.
That's been what I've thought has been the Achilles heel for this team. It's not even so much the starters; it's that they don't have enough in the middle because their starters won't go deep enough. And it's like one of the times where you just kill to have a Chance Sinclair or one of those guys.
Wow, nice pull.
That it's not like he's just an innings eater that he's going to probably give up 3 runs, maybe 4, but he's going to get you 7 innings. Those guys are really valuable in college baseball.
Well, maybe that could come in the form of someone who we don't know yet.
Yeah, exactly. And who knows? Maybe Gavin Blachowicz goes out and throws a great game or whatever it is.
Yeah,
you're going to want it even more when you get into tournament play, but I think it's less likely to happen.
Tommy writes in, why wouldn't Nebraska burn all their arms? They don't play till Friday max. Could play what? 3 tournament games? Yeah, I mean, I think there's an argument for that. So we'll see how it looks this upcoming weekend. Nebraska softball hosting the Big Red Softball Regional, the Regional of Death is what they're calling it. I don't know how to do this from like a prediction standpoint because I think we're all in agreement that they're getting out of it.
I'm not predicting against them.
Yeah, I wouldn't be doing that either. Does Nebraska lose any games in the regional?
I will say no.
I will also say no.
I don't think so.
Does Nebraska have any close games in the regional?
Close being within 3?
Yeah, let's say 3 is close.
No.
I also they're a wagon.
Which sounds so dumb. Like, I'm no softball expert, but when I have paid attention, they seem like they're on a heater right now, too. That's the other thing.
They just have so many great options.
Really legitimately great pitchers to throw at these teams that you won't have to pitch the same person twice if you have to face them again in a championship game.
Exactly.
And then like their offense is swinging a hot bat right now. Like they seem like they're rolling. Like I don't know. I have no reason to bet against any of it.
And we get our first look at at the softball regional environment, which I think will be really good. And obviously, you know
what all session tickets were going for yesterday?
Oh no,
like $323.
Like this is on the secondary market.
The secondary market, yeah. I should give credit to the reporter who.
So how did we turn out in ticket gate in regional gate? Here?
So someone did a story on. I want to make sure I give credit.
Somebody do a timeline on how exactly this went.
So Marin Angus Coombs, who writes for SI Softball and also does stuff for Nebraska Softball.
Shout out to
Marin.
Marin.
And I would totally click on this link if our internet worked in this building.
It doesn't,
but she had the update yesterday and was going through all the regional sites and what the tickets were for sale on the website going into it, and then what the resale ticket price is for it.
Wow.
And Nebraska has the single high sale ticket price of an all session. Now, an all session is however many games are needed to play in a regional.
Every game.
So, like it if there's 5 games, it probably averages out to being like $70 a game.
Tickets went on sale Monday, she writes, and all session tickets were listed as low as $55. As of Thursday, the cheapest all session ticket was reselling for $378.
Yeah, so I undershot it.
They are sold out. Wow, this is good data.
Yeah, no, I meant to put this on the rundown yesterday and failed to do so. So
Hmm.
I'm glad we had an opportunity to.
Now we
get
are
to it.
Now we are getting.
She's
to
done a great job with softball coverage.
Did everybody turn out happy though? Is everybody happy?
I think the people who have wanted to go have been able to get there for the most part. I guess we'll find out as we go through the weekend. I'd be curious, like what the day of prices are for some of this.
Yeah,
and go from there. But I think she has it in there. Single game prices aren't that cost prohibitive. Session, nope, that's a different team.
Are we prepared for this to happen for a baseball regional and just the conversation be even more magnified?
It'll be a lot worse with the baseball regional.
It'll be a lot more magnified, I think.
I think there's also going to be some performative outrage that comes along with it too.
I think I have sensed a little performative outrage in this situation as well.
Look, I think there's genuine people that are.
There's
upset
definitely
by it.
some outrage,
But I do think there will be some like piling on that probably only exists because people like to be performatively mad about things.
People want to be angry at I don't know.
That being said, I'm still of the mindset that they should have
angry
rewarded the season ticket holders with the first dibs on that.
Do people want to be angry at Dannon and they're just trying to find ways to be angry at Dannon?
I think there's some anger at the athletic department just in general.
Yeah.
I definitely like for as well as everything has gone for non-football sports, there's just like anger.
Yeah, I think people are like, well, you got to treat you're not treating us very well. And from the athletic department's perspective, I'm not keeping up for the athletic department, but I'm just saying their side of it here, which is this is what we're doing. We are treating the people who help us the most well.
Yeah, but it's not for the sport of which they're helping you in.
That's true.
So it's like a chicken and the egg kind of thing.
But I think it all worked out, right? Like the ticket guy from Nebraska, the Tyler guy, he was like, every season ticket holder got an opportunity to purchase tickets to the games.
Yeah, I think there was some people that refuted against that.
Okay.
Though. I don't know. I didn't wade deep enough into it. I saw some online banter back and forth on it. I know that, Nebraska certainly says that they're going to keep an eye on what the resale looks like amongst those who bought them and try to track all of that and everything else. I don't know what is actionable from the Nebraska end of it, though. Like if a guy's like, yeah, I bought the tickets and then I couldn't go because something happened with my family and I put it up for, when you
then
sell
you can't
stuff
cancel
online,
that guy.
They give you a suggested price for it. So it's not, it's not like people are like, oh, I'm just going to put $400. Like, no, SeatGeek is valuing this based off of what its metrics is.
That's funny. I've never sold a ticket.
So when I've
never sold a ticket to anything.
I bought all session tickets for Oklahoma City before Nebraska was announced for Oklahoma City, expecting that it was going to be a disaster.
Uh-huh.
And
so you were ready at a moment's notice.
So I basically saved pretty well on session 1 and session 3, the 2 times that Nebraska would have played, and then just got completely buried if you think about the average of it on session 2, because nobody from Houston or Texas A&M or Idaho or whoever the other team was showed up to that because Nebraska fans bought all the tickets.
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody to sell them to. And so the suggested sale price of that was so much higher than what people were interested in because they were going off of well, this is what a normal session would go for elsewhere. But if all of the Nebraska fans are buying up all the tickets, nobody wants session 2.
Correct. Then nobody wants any.
And there's no market and there's no walk up or A&M and Houston weren't visible throughout that. So it's like, I think I made $35 a ticket or didn't make it. But I think that's basically what I sold it for, $35 a ticket, when the session 1 and session 3 would have been close to $90 to $100
at a normal location. Yeah.
So it's what it is.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a break. That's the weekend ahead, ladies and gentlemen. Look forward to it. And hopefully we stay okay in terms of the weather is concerned.
Good luck with that, Dan.
Thank you. In terms of this evening, let's come back with our good friend Jake Sorensen. The Royals have just been swept by the White Sox, which I can't imagine is sitting well with our dear friend, and some other things coming up on 1620 The Zone.
I'm kind of psychotic. So what else is new? I think you guys both know that my psychology. We're always on low sleep. It's the way it is.
All right, and we're joined now on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline by our good friend Jake Sorensen from the Ticket in Lincoln. Hi, Jake.
Hey guys, cancel the Royals. It's all over.
All right.
Did you mean the little? Like when you said that, did you mean the Little League World Series?
All right. Jeez.
Could they win that?
Yeah, I know they couldn't win that. They're a joke to society. They're a joke to baseball. They're pathetic. They make me sad, and I want to throw things at the TV, but I have more self-control than that. So I'm not going to do that.
Of everything, it's been the pitching over the last week now. You haven't been able to pitch right.
No, it's it's a collection of it's a collective suck. They're just awful. They're awful. They're a bad baseball team. They're in a bad division, and they're going to finish 60-102 at this point.
No, they're not. What are you? Jake? Who do you think you are? Are you Frank the Tank of the Royals?
I feel like it.
What he always says is the Mets are going to lose every single game. He says they're terrible, just like that, and they're going to go exactly 500 and miss the playoffs by 4.5 games. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's probably right. I'm just so depressed right now. They really have angered me, and I don't know why I paid such attention to them. Like I bought the package to watch them back like 3 games in. I was excited, and then I regret that a lot because I've wasted hours of my life watching terrible baseball, which that's the way it is.
Did you
here we are.
Did you get in on the deal? I saw that they were doing a deal where the Royals TV package was cheaper, like over the last week or so, which I kind of felt like, I got screwed on that because I bought it before the season like everybody else. And then they were like, oh yeah, by the way, it's 50% off 3 weeks into the season. I'm like, hey, that's not fair.
No, I bought it the first week, so I paid full price. So I paid $100 to watch bad baseball, and that's, I guess, my own fault. But here we are.
The beautiful thing about it, though, is they're only like a 5-game winning streak of being right there. You could hope again. You're only a 5-game winning streak away at any point in the
They'll do it. They'll win 5 in a row.
I don't. They're a tough one. They went 13-1 against the White Sox last year.
The White Sox are better than they were last year, though. You didn't play. You're not playing the last year White Sox.
That's 2-4 Schaefer versus 13-1. I mean, you had 13 wins against these guys last year.
Yeah, but it's a different.
Well, we already know that they're not going to beat the Yankees when they come to town.
They had man of the weekend
Right,
from last week, Murakami. They have Colson Montgomery. They have home run hitter.
He's just mathing the wins in his head. Like he's taking away the 13-1, and we got to make up the 7 wins elsewhere, and they're not coming against the Yankees who are coming to town.
Check out the Angels at some point, right? Have you played the Angels already?
We've had one series with the Angels. Yeah.
Okay. Well, did you get some wins there at least?
Yes, actually.
I think everybody.
That was a sweep. That was a sweep.
Jake, you could be the Angels. That's a lot worse existence.
No, that's great. And we got the Angels beat. That's awesome. We can win at Seattle. Can we beat Seattle in KC? That's up in the 9-game stand they have coming up. The Yankees is a guaranteed loss of a sweep. That's 3 L's. That's 0-6 against.
Even at home? Are we doing this again?
Well, they lost 3 at home last year to them. They can't beat New York.
I'm staying out of it.
I'm less sure that they're going to get swept, but it's still pretty high likelihood.
Yankees are playing good baseball.
Yeah. Okay, Dolphins schedule reaction, Jake. What are we looking at here?
I love it. Here's why. And I'm probably the only person on earth that feels this way, but I think I've told you guys probably just throughout life in general that I am the weird guy that I want every single one of my games of my team played at either noon or 3:15. I don't need to watch Sunday Night Football or Thursday or Monday night. Like, I want the Dolphins playing every single game at noon or 3. And guess what? They're playing every single game at noon or 3. I am ecstatic about the schedule. I hate prime time. Call me what you want. I loathe it. I hate it. I don't like playing in prime time. So for a team that's going to go 3-14 this year in a rebuilding year, this is perfect. I am so happy with the Dolphins schedule.
That is crazy. They got they play every Sunday except for their bye week at noon or 3:30. Yeah. That is absurd.
It's a dream. It's a dream. It's an absolute dream. I am so happy about this.
I kind of am with you. Like I would like my team played during all the other NFL games, so that way if they suck, I can get lost in the rest of the mess. And
that's what I'm doing.
We don't have to be a national embarrassment.
Yeah. I only really want the offset games if I'm going to attend it, so then I can watch the other NFL games without having that disruption.
Yeah.
Like going to a game on a Sunday, which I pitched to Jake Sorensen as the Vikings play the Dolphins. It's, I guess, made better by, I didn't realize this. Joey pointed it out. That game has a 3:15 kick time. Even though it's a central.
Yeah, it's a single coverage game in the afternoon.
Does that make it harder for us to go, Jake?
No, I would think that'd be feasible. It's just going to create a long night ahead, getting back to Lincoln and Omaha. But, for the sake of bad football, which we'll be watching at least for one of those teams, bad football, the Miami Dolphins, you got to make it happen. The Dolphins are playing the Chiefs this year in Miami. They play at Denver. They play at Indy. They play at Green Bay and Minnesota. So if they had a pulse, it'd be a great year to make a lot of road trips to these games, but I can probably commit to one. And why not Minneapolis?
Yeah, we'll have a good time.
All right, cool.
Do you want to go?
Sure. I mean, it sounds like a long day, but yeah. I got to see where these birds get killed.
It's going to be a really long day.
Yeah.
I'm guessing we would leave just Sunday morning,
Ugh.
drive there, go watch the NFL noon slate, and then go to the game.
I got to see where these birds are getting killed.
Yeah.
Up against these windows.
Jake, how much attention do you put on something like Nebraska softball? Like, are you going to try to watch any of the games this weekend? Are you going to make your way over to the stadium this weekend? Like, when there's a sport that isn't basketball, football, volleyball, or baseball having that kind of success, do you feel compelled to pay more attention to Nebraska softball?
Yeah, and I actually went to the Nebraska-Iowa softball game, the first one. Nebraska beat them, I think, in 6 innings that day, and it was just fun.
You love going to Iowa games, by the way.
Well, I like when they beat Iowa, and I knew they had a good chance of beating them, so it was fun to see Nebraska not lose to Iowa. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. They're fun to watch. I mean, we all know that they're 46-6. They're incredible. They have maybe the best player in the country, if not one of them, in Jordy Fromm. But it's more than just her. Like, it's a fun team to watch. And we had Rhonda Revelle on the show on Wednesday, and she's just she's just so energetic.
She's
and
awesome.
Happy, and she's just having the time of her life. And I feel so good for her. Being 30 years here at Nebraska, 30 plus years, and she still is bubbly as heck. And you can tell they have, as they should, high expectations. They're one of the 4-1 seeds in the tournament. And the answer is yes. I might go to tomorrow's game. I had an invite to go to the game, but there's a chance I will go to that tonight. I cannot go. But yeah, I'm following them, and if they make it down to the College World Series, we might have to make a trip down there and watch it.
You guys are going to re-trip
Let's
it
go
down
back
to
Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City, a city that you hold
Would
dear
this
and
be
dear.
a summer break trip then, compared to the
means
spring?
a lot to me, Happer. That city is certainly one of my favorites now for what happened there in mid-March.
No doubt about it.
Just wait till there's a whole list of cities that you hold a grudge against because there's been bad NCAA tournament losses in them. That'll come too.
See, I don't think about San Antonio, but when you lose by 50 points,
exactly,
it doesn't
that
really
one
matter.
Yeah,
Memphis doesn't matter. Maybe it does to Jake. I wasn't there.
But when you have expectations,
sure,
and you go into the tournament and then you lose surprisingly, all of a sudden the city that you lose in becomes enemy number 2.
Did you hate San Antonio because of the Baylor?
I don't think good things about San Antonio.
You wouldn't go to San Antonio.
I don't know. I would go to San Antonio.
It's
but
a pretty great place.
I don't think good things about it.
Okay, that's fair.
That's sort of where I'm at. So I don't
know if I'm against Memphis. I get the sentiment there, Schaefer. I don't know if I'm thinking, I'll never go there. That's when Nebraska got killed by A&M. But I do get Happer's San Antonio thing for sure. I mean, Creighton was a 3 seed that year, and then Baylor happened. So I understand that.
They were. What about baseball? How much you paying attention to Nebraska baseball this weekend?
I also went to I saw Nebraska beat Iowa in baseball as well.
He's texting me about it when he was there. It was great.
Oh, it's just a dream. I saw them beat them 10-0 in the first game. In like then obviously games 2 and 3 were just chaotic with a bunch of just homers and bunch of runs happening and bad bullpen sessions. But yeah, I'm interested in them. They've been fun to watch. Yesterday's another good example. Down 4-1, they score 7 runs. They're never out of a game. So I love a team, that can score runs and score them in quick fashion. They were down 11-8 to Iowa and then scored 7 runs and won 15-11. A 7-run inning is common nature for this team, and so I love the fact they keep the line moving as the Royals like to do, but fail to do it often enough. But yeah, Will Bolt's team is fun, so I will certainly follow them, and I have been watching more of them this year than probably any recent year.
Let's get you a Nebraska football question. Earlier this week, Happer and I were talking about Nebraska football, and we got into the identity question. If you could pick, if you could decide going into 2026, what do you want the identity of Nebraska football to be, either in 2026 or just continuing that beyond?
Good question. I think that we went down this. Nebraska fans have this dream of having like an NFL type quarterback that is an elite passer, and yeah, certainly that's great to have that. But I still think Nebraska has to be at its heart a great running team. They have to run the ball well. I'm not saying I'm run the ball guys. We always like to talk and make fun of, but those guys have a point. When Nebraska has ran the ball well in years past, they've been pretty good. And I don't know if this defense is going to be good enough to stop the run, but just some level of physicality. I don't know if we've ever seen, we haven't seen for a long time, like Nebraska truly be the more physical team in a year. I know it's kind of cliche and it's kind of an easy answer, but at what point, like, you say, hey man, these guys, like they are a bunch of dogs and they just want to be the tougher team on the field. And that has to matter at some point. And I don't think we have seen that brand under Matt Rhule or Mike Riley or even Scott Frost enough, and that's probably why you had 10 years of mediocrity at best for Nebraska.
Jake, before we let you go here, I wanted to. So I think you hate Iowa more than Creighton. Is this correct?
Whoa.
I'm going to go with yes.
Okay.
It's probably a daily revolving thing there, but I would say in general, yeah, I do despise Iowa more than Creighton, but it is pretty close.
That's the way it's always felt to me. But all right, that's a good barometer to put on it.
We'll give Iowa the lean there. Give Iowa the lean.
So what was the victory lap like after Tuesday when Nebraska had cinched up winning every game against Creighton in every sport this year?
I thought about going on my deck and having a victory cigar. I chose not to. I had to get some chores done, some errands done, so I didn't have time for the victory cigar. But it felt good. I mean, all these, you hear all these things. The first time in 11 years sweeping Creighton or sweeping whoever it was, Iowa, in the first time ever sweeping Iowa in a Big Ten series under at least with Rick Heller there. It's like they're doing all the things that we thought was not possible. Oh, we can't sweep Creighton. We can't sweep Iowa. Well, I guess you can. And that game against Creighton was crazy, up 8-0, and it was 8-4. They had a chance to, they had bases loaded, down 8-4, could have tied it up with a big hit and didn't. So there's a lot of emotions there, but it feels good. Like, it feels good to be on top with Nebraska basketball making the Sweet 16 and baseball having this epic year and softball having an epic year. I don't know what we'll get out of football, but I know this ride for Nebraska sports has been a lot of fun. And for the first time, it's nice to have sustained success in sports, plural.
So, Jake, with the Preakness coming up, it made me wonder, how was that bourbon that you had just with the Kentucky Derby?
It was good, and I'm sticking to it. So I had the bourbon. The rule was that I had to put the winner of the Derby like on a sticky note or some sort of thing on the back of the bottle. So I did that, and I will not have a sip of that bourbon until next Kentucky Derby. So it's not, I can't have it during the Preakness. I can't have it during the Belmont. It is Kentucky Derby only. So I hope this bottle survives. It could be, 40 years. How long could a bottle of bourbon survive and have one shot a year? Forever?
Yeah.
My whole lifetime?
In theory, it should be fine.
Yeah.
So I'm 35. That should survive. If I were lucky to make it to my 80s and the 90s, if it is lucky, 60 shots. Would that still have some in there or not?
That's a great question. How many shots are in a?
No idea.
I have no idea.
It's like licks to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, that's a good question.
So, like, Jake, is it prominently displayed in your house?
Yes, yeah. I have a bar downstairs. I have got some different bourbons. I don't buy any bourbons. I've got my
You get it
brother-in-law
gifted
loves
to you.
bourbon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my brother-in-law loves bourbon, so he always gives me bottles. I'm not going to buy this. I guess I'll get something for you in exchange.
So you have
but I'm
nice
not
stuff
gonna,
to give people when they come over.
I do. I have a lot of bourbons downstairs, so it is certainly displayed downstairs in the bar. You guys are invited over anytime to have a not drink of that one, but of the other bourbons, yes. And if you're there for Derby Day sometime, you can certainly have a shot with me on that one.
Sean writes in on the text line, Jake will stroke out over his sports teams in 20 years or less. That whiskey is not getting finished.
That is a good point, Sean. You know what? He's on to something there.
I hate laughing about that.
Right.
Well, the Dolphins will not make me stroke out this year because I don't expect success. It's a rebuild, so I will be very calm with them. However, as alluded to in the Open that I hear every Friday, I did have high expectations for the Royals, and I am royally pissed off right now about everything going on there in KC, and I am back on the fire Q train again.
Okay, well, we'll check in next week.
Well, where do you stand, Happer? I mean, they were 8-17, and they bounced back.
They'll be fine.
You said the goal was to get back to 500. And that was a good, and they were one game from that, and then they lost 5 straight games again because they can't have nice things.
There's 162 of them. They'll be fine.
Yeah,
they'll be fine.
Enough.
Yeah, he thinks they're going to go 61 and 101 or whatever.
They're not going to lose all the rest of the game.
At some point, Happer, you know what you have. You got a manager that doesn't want to play Cags enough, doesn't want to play Jensen enough. Oh, by the way, Carter Jensen, man, he needs some catching help.
Yeah, he can't catch. Yeah,
what is up with
and neither
that,
can
Happer?
Salvador Perez either. But so that's why they got the third guy on there.
Salvy's old. I mean, Carter Jensen has like 3 pass balls a game that result in runs.
Yeah, it's not pretty. It's not pretty. That's why they got that third guy, the old guy on there.
Elias Diaz.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you got to put him in the lineup. It's the worst thing that you could possibly ask for. It's horrible.
Now you get why it's 60 to 102. You get it now. You understand the pass.
Yeah. If they have more Elias Diaz in their lineup, it's not going to be pretty. That much is for sure. By the way, Kenny writes in before we let you go. He says a 1 ounce pour will equal about 25 years.
Okay.
1 ounce shot will get you 25 years.
So 60.
60 years old, that bottle's getting emptied. Wow.
That'll be cool. You should have a party for that.
I think you're going to make it. I think you'll be just fine. All right, Jake, have a good weekend. See ya.
See you guys.
Jake Sorensen from 93.7 The Ticket in Lincoln, the co-host of Early Break with Sip and Jake and Bill Bush.
Coach Bill Bush.
Do they have a cool theme song? I don't think so.
Certainly not as good as ours.
Exactly.
Good luck with that, Dan.
We'll be back with the bracket sim. We'll get you out here after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, final segment here on a Friday. Happer and Schaefer, 1620 The Zone, and on 1620thezone.com. To the bracket sim we go. We head to the pair ratings. Nebraska is hosting the Lincoln Regional, according to this bracket, and they are hosting Oklahoma, UTSA,
Oh, they're on the
and
left side on the graph.
Southeastern Louisiana. So this has changed a little bit. Let's hit simulate. Nebraska advances from the Lincoln Regional, but goes no further. They lose to North Carolina and Chapel Hill, just as their season ended last year, right? And they do
super this time, but
yeah, they do not go to the College World Series. Sad.
Nebraska doesn't advance in mine. OU instead. Then my Connor World Series is UCLA, A&M, Georgia, North Carolina, Ole Miss, Auburn, USC, and Texas. UCLA over USC in the championship series. Another Big Ten championship.
Yep, the Big Ten powerhouse.
Wow. I have Nebraska in the Super Regional, losing to North Carolina, who wins the national championship over Texas.
Oh.
With Alabama, Mississippi State, Oregon State, Texas A&M, Wake Forest, Georgia Tech.
North Carolina, Texas would be a fun throwback.
Yeah, it would be.
We haven't had that as a championship series, have we?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
We've had North
Basically, on the
Carolina,
days when
Oregon
I was
State.
there.
We've had LSU, Texas. We've had Texas A&M. I feel like it's been a while since North Carolina's been in a championship.
So, let's see. Last time North Carolina was in a championship
Was it the Oregon
series
State?
would have been the 2007 championship. They played them in back-to-back years,
Yeah.
2006
They
and
lost both
2007. They lost both times. Indeed they did.
Indeed it did.
Indeed they did. Yeah, so that'd be a fun little throwback if we got that College World Series. Then in the projected bracket, Nebraska hosting Oklahoma, Clemson, and San Diego State. And Nebraska doesn't make out of the regional.
Clemson for me as well.
does, yeah.
Oklahoma for me.
Sad. The brackets really just are not. They're not pushing Nebraska baseball to the College World Series as much as you want them.
They sure do love Texas A&M in this. They win the championship over Mississippi State in mine. And there's UCLA, Alabama, North Carolina, Texas, West Virginia, and Georgia Tech in the Connor World Series.
I'm
along
excited
with
to
those two.
have a lot of conversations next week regarding the selection process. Maybe we'll get some college baseball people on and
We can do that.
and do a little bit of that with RPI and the DSR and the whatever. Because college baseball and their committee only uses the 3 metrics, and RPI is very outdated, and it hurt. And the RPI points hurt when you win against some teams, and so that has been the gospel for a long time in college baseball. We will see next week if it is still that way. All right, that'll do it for us today. If you missed anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. We got a crossover with Matt before you get you out of here for the weekend. Coming up next.
It's